On WEKR AM, WYTM FM, and Triangle Cablevision. Now, the rules of this forum have been set aside and agreed on by these candidates for Circuit Court Clerk. And the candidates are Gail Corder to my left, the incumbent for the office, and Etta Mae Gill, candidate for Circuit Court Clerk. Now, here are the rules. This is a political forum. It's not a debate. We're here to give these candidates the opportunity to express their opinion and position in regard to this office. Now, the questions that will be asked are reflective of the many calls and letters that we've received that are on the foremost of the minds of Lincoln Countyans. And many of the questions that are written and called in cannot be asked because they're more oriented to debate. All the calls and letters have been edited for brevity and fairness to each of these candidates. No question will be directed to one individual candidate, and we would like to remind our listeners, our viewers, and the candidates that this is not a debate. This is a political forum which each candidate will be asked identical questions for fairness to everyone. And each candidate will be allowed a certain amount of time to address each question, and when the time is up, they must stop. We will give each candidate equal time at the end of this forum for summary. Now, first of all, let's find out a little bit about the Circuit Court Clerk's office. It has a yearly salary of $40,964 as of July 1st, 1994, which has been set aside by the state. Now, the duty of the Circuit Court Clerk, which has also been outlined by the state, is to attend the court, which includes criminal and civil court, circuit and sessions court, now that's including juvenile court, and perform all administrative functions of these courts. The Circuit Court Clerk is responsible for all accounting of the fees collected. The Circuit Court Clerk is elected by the voters and serves a 4-year term. The Circuit Court Clerk plays a very important role in the court system, being responsible for attending each session of court with all the papers in the cases on the docket. Now, this office is also responsible for keeping the minutes of the court in a well-bound book. The salary of the Circuit Court Clerk is fixed by general law, and the state may increase through the General Assembly. Okay, we're getting ready to start with the questions, and first of all, I'd like to say a special thank you to both of the candidates. Congratulations for coming this far in this run. And first of all, I'd like to start with Gail Corder. And the question is, tell us about yourself, your background, and your qualifications for this office. Gail Corder, you have 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you, Don. I am Gail Corder. I live in the Flantville community. My husband, Gary, is a farmer. My children are Lisa, who is 26 years old. She is employed by Madison County Sheriff's Department. Lori is a student at Middle Tennessee State University, and Leanne is a nursing student at the University of Alabama. I'm a graduate of Flantville High School, and I attended Motlow College. I became a deputy clerk in 1975, and I was elected circuit court clerk in 1986. Since 1987, I have participated in the Lincoln County High School Co-op program for high school students to gain work experience. I'm a member of the Fourm Bureau and Lincoln County Chamber of Commerce. I'm a 1991-92 graduate of the leadership program of Fayetteville-Lincoln County Chamber of Commerce. I have been selected as a Who's Who's of America for Business and Professionals for the year 1994. I am a member of the Tennessee State Court Clerks Association, and I am presently serving on the Education Committee and the Child Support Task Force Committee. In 1993, I became the juvenile clerk. In May of this year, the juvenile court was awarded a grant for the Tennessee Commission on Children and Youth, which I applied for. I am now the Juvenile, General Sessions, and Circuit Court Clerk. In the last several years, the workload has doubled and tripled. With these added responsibility, it is important to have the leadership and experience it takes to run this very busy office. And I feel like I have these qualifications, and I want to continue to serve you, the people of Lincoln County, as Circuit Court Clerk.
Okay, thank you. Gail Corder. Now, Etta Mae Gill. Etta Mae Gill, tell us about yourself and your background and your qualifications for this office. Etta Mae Gill, you have 5 minutes.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to share with you. I guess about the campaign, this is probably the most difficult part of the campaign for me, is talking about myself. But here goes. I'm Etta Mae Gill. I was born October 13th, 1943, to Clayton and Catherine Tucker Thomas, and I'm the oldest of 4 kids. There's Ronald and Dale, and Shirley is the baby. We grew up on a farm in the Belleville community, and we milked cows before school and after school, and then we showed purebred Duroc hogs. And of course we helped with all the other chores that farmers have to do. We had tobacco and row crops. We worked really hard, and that was a principle that we lived by. Tell the truth and help others. Give more than you get, and treat people like you want to be treated, and be very grateful for what you have. I attended Belleville Elementary School, and you'll wonder where that is. It's non-existent now. We have a fire station in Belleville where the school was. And then I attended Central High School and graduated there in 1961. I played basketball for 4 years, for anyone who has a memory that far back. And then after graduation, I graduated in May. After graduation, I married John Gill Jr. in October of that same year. We lived in town for about 6 months. Neither of us enjoyed living in town, so we moved to the country, where we bought a farm in partnership with John's parents, John and Laura Mae Gill Sr. And that's out on the Shelbyville Highway, about 7 miles toward Belleville, which is the community that I had grown up in. We have 2 sons, Ken, who is married to Debbie Owens, and they have 2 sons, Clay, 5, and Coy, who's just 10 months old. And then Keith married Cindy Tunstall, and they have 1 little boy who's almost 2, John. At the age of 19, I became a Christian, and moral living took on a new dimension. Spiritual things became important to me at that time, and I was challenged to be an example of what I professed to be. When Ken and Keith started to school, then I got involved in school activities too, like many mothers who want to know what's happening at school. And during their elementary education process, I was always involved in the PTA, serving as president a couple of years at 8th District. I taught a Sunday school class for young teens at First Baptist Church here in town, and I worked there as financial secretary part-time. During those early years, so that I could be at home, I worked part-time jobs and farmed and drove a tractor and did all those things. When Ken graduated from Lincoln County High School, decided he'd try Montlow College. And Mom said, "Would it embarrass you terribly if I went with you?" And he said no, and I wasn't really sure about it, but I don't think he was too embarrassed. We attended several classes together until he decided that wasn't for him. He wanted to farm. And so that's what he did. I continued on with my classes, but then our youngest son, Keith, had a severe accident in his junior year and had a broken neck, and as a result of that, I needed to stay home and take care of him. So after Keith's recuperation and graduation from high school, he took off for MTSU. He's teaching school now in Hickman County, and Ken is farming with his dad out on the Shelbyville Highway. Both my girls are in the nursing profession. Now, in 1986, we opened a business here in town, Circle G Barbecue. Before that, I had worked in temporary positions at the Lincoln County ASCS office, and a temporary was 12 years of temporary. And I worked 3 years for the Federal Post Office as a rural carrier relief on Route 1. In 1990, I was elected to the Lincoln County School Board to represent District 6. So after that, we closed the business in 92. We were unsuccessful in trying to buy the property. But I began looking for a service opportunity, and I was hired by the Tennessee Department of Safety in 1993.
Etta Mae Gill. Now for question number 2. We address this right back to you. You will go first on this question, Etta Mae Gill. The question is, why are you running for this office?
I've always had an interest in the law, and I guess being on the school board helped me to, being chairman of the policy committee for 3 years, we realized that everything that had policy, there was Tennessee code annotated that we had to deal with also. And I've been interested in the law prior to that, but got more interested in that as I went along. I'm also interested in a job that will help me to have a constant learning situation. Now, most of the time when people use the circuit court clerk's office, they have a problem. They need help, and I truly enjoy helping people and helping to solve the problems. So, lastly, as you said earlier, I hear it's pretty good pay.
Okay, that's Etta Mae Gill. Question number 2 for Gail Corder is, Gail, why are you continuing to run for the office of Circuit Court Clerk?
Well, one important factor is that I have 2 daughters in college, and that is very expensive at this time. And I feel like I have the necessary experience to run this very busy office. I have the qualifications as a certified public administrator and as a court administrator. And as I said, people that come to our office have a problem, and we are ruled by the Tennessee Code annotated. We get all of our laws from this. I continually keep up with the seminars and all the new laws that are passed by the legislative, and I feel like I am a legal specialist in this field.
Thank you. That's Gail Corder. Now for question number 3. The question is, if re-elected, what improvements will you make in this office and its operations? Gail Corder, you have 5 minutes.
Well, I would continue to run the office in the efficient manner that we are now presently doing, and the growth in the changing times of automation. My record of well-informed and educated personnel. We have had no overturns in the past 8 years. I have dedicated, loyal, honest, and very hard-working people who are not only interested in their job, but the public welfare, and continue to have a very good working relationship with all the other offices, the judges, lawyers, and all the law enforcement agencies.
Okay, that was Gail Corder. As we go to question number 3 for Etta Mae Gill, I will re-ask it. If elected, Etta Mae Gill, what improvements will you make in this office and its operations? And again, you have 5 minutes.
Okay, first of all, let me say that I'm a very conservative person. I guess that comes from living on a farm, being reared on a farm. You have to use what you have and do the best that you have with what you have. As an elected official, I don't see that I should do any differently with your money. I think that I should use it wisely and carefully. And another question that had been asked just recently, one that had just come in, I believe, pertained to this. And how would I respond to the computers and so forth, and would that help eliminate some waste in the office and so forth? I am employed by the Tennessee Department of Safety presently. Perhaps the largest, one of the largest systems in the state would be the motor vehicle system, and I use that computer daily and have access to those records. And so I'm aware of what Gail is saying about all those, the technology that we have at our fingertips. But what we need to remember is that whether you live in Cyruston or Teal Hollow, or whether you're over on 1st Avenue or 5th Avenue, you needed to be treated with respect and as an individual. And that is something that I can pledge to do for you.
Etta Mae Gill. Okay, as we go to question number 4, this one will let you go first again, Etta Mae Gill, on this question. What duties do you anticipate if elected in this upcoming term? Again, you have 5 minutes.
Well, according to the Tennessee Code, which specifies, in which you've already iterated, the duties, and some of the duties, I'm certain these are not all of the duties, but certifying jurors, making and transmitting transcripts of case records, recording court judgments, doing accounting processes for the court, costs, fees, fines, all those things, and keeping minutes of the court cases. Then there's the issuance of warrants and processes. And then there's the detailed financial reports, receipts, and disbursements. There's just a few of the things that I would add to what you said. But the bottom line to all these things is that we remember that these are just documentations. The purpose of the whole reason for the office being there is the person that it's serving, and to give them the best and most courteous treatment is my priority in addition to those duties.
Thank you, Etta Mae Gill. Gail Corder, we asked you, what duties do you anticipate if re-elected in the upcoming term of a circuit court clerk? Gail Corder, you have 5 minutes.
Going to iterate what Etta Mae has said about the duties of the office, but in the next 4 or 5 years we're going to see some changes being made in the offices, not only of circuit but general sessions and juvenile court. Everything will be computerized in the next 4 or 5 years. DHS and the federal government are presently mandating computer systems for the clerk's office, the child support division, and also the DHS in Nashville. And all of these offices will interact. And the AOC, which is the Administrative Office of the Supreme Court in Nashville, this office is contemplating computer software for the clerks, judges, district attorneys, public defender's office, all to interact within the next 4 to 5 years. And also the Tennessee Commission on Children and Youth will have a computer software available for the juvenile court clerk within the next 2 years. This is to give more statistical information on juvenile matters so that we can better serve our youth and our court systems. And also we are contemplating the optical imaging system to replace the dockets, our old archive system, which is very expensive right now, that to put this all on a disk in case of a catastrophe that might happen, like in Grundy County when their courthouse burned. And all of this would probably put up a CD-ROM. Our judges now are using CD-ROMs in the courtroom where all their TCA and their case laws are on. And hopefully that we'll be able to do this within the next 4 to 5 years.
Okay, Gail Corder, as we get ready for the summary of this political forum, we'd like to give each candidate equal time to summarize their feelings toward running for circuit court clerk. You have 5 minutes.
I've already given you my education background and work experience, and I feel I have given this job my 100%, and I will continue to do so. I stay long hours to get the job done. I'm a loyal Lincoln Countyan and support my county, and I'm proud to tell everyone that I am from Lincoln County. Do you want experience and leadership and qualifications to continue to represent you in Lincoln County? Then I'm asking you to vote for me on Gail Corder on August the 4th for continued experience in the Circuit Court Clerk's office.
That was Gail Corder, and as we turn the mic to Etta Mae Gill to summarize running for Circuit Court Clerk. You have 5 minutes.
You know, when Gail says that the experience and the qualifications, that's wonderful, and that's good that she has those qualifications. But do you know that we do not employ the Circuit Court Clerk of Lincoln County on the basis of educational background and so forth? It's an election process, and the people of the county choose who will serve as their circuit court clerk. So that's a choice that you're going to need to make. There is another question that I would like to address, Don. You have been kind not to address a question that someone had phoned in about my vehicle registration or vehicles that are wearing my signs. And that's something that I want to respond to at this time. When I ask people to help me with my campaign, I didn't ask, where are you from? I didn't ask, are your tags in date? Are they expired? I never ask, where do you live? I only ask for your help, and I've been very glad to have it. It seems to me that someone perhaps wants to inject innuendo or half-truths into this campaign, and there's no place for it. I've pledged and continue to pledge that I will not be a part of such behavior. But to let you know, though this has nothing whatsoever to do with Circuit Court Clerk, I drive a maroon Chevy Astro van, tag number QKL923. It's registered in Lincoln County. My husband drives an old Ford pickup, registered in Lincoln County. Hear me well. I will not have a part of this kind of politics. But I want you to remember that tag number and that van description, because I'm going to be coming to see you. I'm wanting to talk to you about being your circuit court clerk. I want to talk to you about letting me be the steward of your office for a little while. And I want to talk to you about helping you solve whatever problems you have. It's not my office, it's your office, and I'll be your clerk. I give you my word. I'll practice justice, mercy, and I'll walk humbly if you choose me on August 4th.
Etta Mae Gill. Gill Quarter, Etta Mae Gill, we thank you for letting the voters of Lincoln County know a little bit more about yourself. And we appreciate you here at WEKR, WYTM, and Triangle Cablevision for coming out and letting the voters of Lincoln County find out more. We thank our listeners and our viewers and everyone for tuning in, and we hope that they exercise their right to vote on August the 4th. And we'd like to remind you as we close up here, we'd like to take the opportunity to let you know about some other political forums that we have coming up here. And the next one is going to be on Tuesday, July the 19th, with a candidate for county clerk. That's Wilma Moore, the incumbent, and Nell Frame Smith. And then on Wednesday, July the 20th, it's the Register of Deeds. And the incumbent is Maxine Thornton, and the candidate also is Renus McGeorge. And then on Monday, July the 25th, is the County Executive Political Forum, and this will be broadcast, all these will be broadcast the same way that this one has been. The County Executive incumbent is Jerry Mansfield, and running for office as well as Mickey Stafford and Nolan Myrick. On Tuesday, July the 26th, is the candidates for sheriff, and that's with incumbent Randall Shelton, and also Jimmy Mullins, Charles Wilson, Ernest Jenkins, and Tom Bean. We thank you once again for listening to this broadcast of the Breakfast Club Newsmakers Combination, a simulcast on WEKR AM, WYTM FM, and Triangle Cablevision.
I'm fine, are you?
Farm community of 1,100 people.
Fishing in the summertime, hunting in the fall and the winter.
And hello everyone, I'm John Counts. Welcome into the Breakfast Club Newsmakers Combination. This is a political forum broadcast on WEKR AM, WYTM FM, and rebroadcast on Triangle Cablevision. The rules of this forum have been set aside and agreed on by these candidates for county clerk. The candidates are, to my left, Wilma F. Moore, the incumbent, and Nell Frame Smith to my right. Good morning, ladies, and thank you for being here. Here are the rules for this political forum. It's not a debate. We're here to give these candidates the opportunity to express their opinion and position in regard to this office. The questions that will be asked are reflective of calls and letters that we've received. Many of the questions we've received cannot be asked because they're oriented to debate. For complete fairness, all calls and letters have been edited so they can be addressable to both candidates. No question will be directed to one individual candidate. This is not a debate. This is a forum in which each candidate will be asked identical questions for fairness to everyone. Each candidate will be allowed 5 minutes to address each question, and when the time is up, they must stop. We'll give each candidate 5 minutes at the end of this forum as well for an opportunity for summary. First of all, let's find out a little bit about the county clerk. It has a yearly salary of $40,964, which has been set aside by the General Assembly of the state of Tennessee. In 1982, the name was changed from county court clerk to the current county clerk. The county clerk's job, which is outlined also by the state, is to be the clerk of the county legislative body. The county clerk keeps the minutes of the county board of commissioners and is kept in a well-bound book. The county clerk is a collector for a number of local and state taxes, including our wheel tax, our local motel hotel tax, wholesale beer tax, business taxes, vehicle fees, and hunting and fishing license. The county clerk issues marriage license, which is registered in a well-bound book with the names and the date of the marriage and the license that is issued. Both the county clerk and their deputies are required to take the oath of office. Also, the county clerk is responsible for taking applications for those applying for notary publics, which is recommended by the County Board of Commissioners and approved by the Secretary of State. All excess fees collected by the county clerk are turned back to the county for general purpose. Okay, ladies, it's time now for us to get into the questions, and the way we're going to do this is go in alphabetical order, the way it will be on the ballot, and we're going to start this morning with Wilma F. Moore. Wilma, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and your qualifications for this office. Wilma Moore, you have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Don, and thank you for this opportunity to be on this political forum. I am Wilma Moore. I was born in the Belleville community. My parents were the late Will and Annie Lou Forrester. I attended the Belleville Elementary School and graduated from the Old Central High School in 1951. I'm married to Lewis Moore, and we have one daughter, Janice. We're members of First Baptist Church here in Fayetteville. After graduation, I was employed by a law firm for a few months, and then I was given the opportunity to work in the county clerk's office. David Sloan was then the clerk and gave me this opportunity. My duty at that time was to help take title applications on vehicles. Every car owner in Lincoln County had to make application for a title for the first time. These included 1929 models, 1931 models, and on up to the current day. This law went into effect July 1st, 1951. And I guess that was my opportunity to work in the county clerk's office. I feel like with these years of experience, I do have the qualifications to continue in this position. I also have a staff that is qualified. I have 3 full-time deputies and I have a part-time clerk. They will continue to serve the people in a courteous and efficient manner, which is what we try to do. The problems of the county people or anyone who comes in our office become our problems. We are not a problem solver, but we do attempt to help anyone who has a problem. And there are many problems when it comes to trading vehicles, buying vehicles, especially out of state. State legislation, of course, dictates the workings of this office, the way we handle the many daily activities. And the daily activities are a lot. Some days we have 15, 16, 20 marriage licenses to complete, and this takes a lot of time. In 1982, as you mentioned, when the county court clerk became county clerk, the clerk was given the opportunity at that time to be able to perform marriages. So, and I would say 75% of the marriages are from Alabama, being that we don't have a blood test and they do. In addition to these day-by-day obligations by the clerk, as you pointed out, the clerk is responsible for taking the board minutes of the county board meetings. These meetings are every other month on the 3rd Monday night, and we have 2 or 3 special meetings during the year, depending on what kind of business comes up. These minutes are taken in shorthand or longhand, whatever you want to say. Minutes that are transcribed then into a big bound book and stays in the clerk's office. This is a very important task. It's time consuming because it meets in the evening, but it works out real well. And I would be honored to continue to serve the people of Lincoln County as county clerk.
Thank you. That was Wilma F. Moore. And now we'll turn the question over to Nell Frame Smith. Miss Nell, tell us about yourself and your backgrounds and your qualifications and for this office. Nell Frame Smith, you have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Don, and it is a pleasure to be here, and I appreciate the opportunity to come out here. I'm Nell Frame Smith. My husband is Kirk Smith, and we have one son, Tim, who graduated this year from Lincoln County High School and will attend college this fall. We live in the Kelso-Flintville area. We attend the Kelso-Cumberland Presbyterian Church, where Kirk serves as an elder and Tim sings in the choir. My parents were the late Ernest L. Frame and Teresa Moorhead Frame. My mother passed away in December 1958, and my father remarried in March 1962 to Annis Tipton Frame, who lives in the Kelso area. I have one brother, Harold Frame, and 3 sisters, Ernestine Gibson, Edith Trenum, Eileen Jakes. My father owned and operated Frame Sawmill, located on Highway 64 East, for many years. I graduated from Flintville High School, and shortly after that I went to work at Servin for a couple of years. In June 1964, I went to work at Scoville Manufacturing Company and worked there 15.5 years. During that time I worked as a traffic clerk, production coordinator, and expediter. And of course we know that Scoville closed, and I went to work for Walmart as a claims clerk and a markup markdown office clerk. During the 4 years I worked at Walmart, I attended the seminars, and when new stores in the district opened, I was sent to help train the claims clerks. In April 1983, I went to work for Lee Distribution and worked in the shipping office for about 2 years until the distribution moved to Holly Pond, Alabama. At that time, I was transferred to Lee Manufacturing Company and worked in the payroll office until August 1989. I left the Lee Company to help with our family business, the Big Cut Country Store, where I work with the public every day.
Okay, that was Nell Frame Smith, and as we go to the second question, we in turn the mic for Nell to have the first shot at this question. The question is, why are you running for this office? Nell Frame Smith, you have 5 minutes.
Well, for one thing, I have a son who will be starting college this fall, and I need a job with a steady income. I really enjoy office work, and I've always been able to accept responsibility. Another reason is that I'm a people person who likes to greet people with a smile, and I enjoy helping people. If elected, this would give me an opportunity to serve all the nice people of Lincoln County.
Thank you, Ms. Nell Smith. As we go to the second question with Wilma Moore. Wilma, why are you continuing to run for this office? Ms. Wilma, you have 5 minutes.
I'm running for the county clerk's office because it's my job. It's been my job for several years, and I like what I'm doing, and I think I'm doing a good job with it. If I might, I'll go on into what we do. The county clerk's office is responsible for making monthly reports of all revenues collected. This includes motor vehicle tax, sales tax, wheel tax, marriages, business tax, hunting and fishing license reports, notary public bond reports, and all miscellaneous items. Every cent taken in has to be accounted for. Deposits are made daily. A daily cash journal is used for this, and an annual report is completed by June 30th of each year. An audit by the state comptroller is made once each year. Most of our work is done manually. None of our work is on computer, except we are afforded one motor vehicle terminal. This is a useful instrument. Not that we can do any of our reporting by this computer, but we are able to renew people's tags. If they don't get a renewal in the mail, we're able to put that in, and it is very helpful, and it expedites our work an awful lot. I do not have to do a payroll since this is done by the county finance department. I do have a budget that I operate from my office. I try to stay within $12,000 to $15,000 a year. This money is for the purchase of any equipment we might use. The typewriters we use, I try to use something as cheaply as possible for the county's benefit. They do wear out occasionally and we have to replace them. The large bound books are one of the biggest expenses in the office. They run anywhere from $300 to $500 a book, and several of these are used during a 12-month period. My office is a fee office ranging from 75 cents to $7 per transaction, and these fees pay my salary and the salaries of my employees. All excess fees are turned over to the county for general use. So my reason for wanting this office back is the fact that it's my job and I know what I'm doing and I enjoy working for the public.
Wilma F. Moore. Okay, we go to the third question for Ms. Nell Smith. Nell, if elected, what improvements will you make in this office and its operations? Ms. Nell, you have 5 minutes.
I will be friendly and kind to everyone that comes in the office. I will wait on the people as quickly as possible. If anyone comes in at closing time, I will stay and serve them. I will attend all seminars that are offered by the state in order to be informed of all the latest changes, where I can serve you in the most effective and efficient way possible. But my #1 priority would be that I would like to extend the office hours on Friday until 6 p.m. without spending any more of the taxpayers' money. I'm used to working long hours, so I would say until 6, and schedule one person to come to work at 10 instead of 8 and work with me until 6. I will continue to keep the office open one Saturday morning a month, and this is to accommodate the people who work out of town and those who do not get off work until after 4.
That's Nell Frame Smith. Now we ask Wilma Moore, if re-elected, what improvements will you make in this office and its operations?
I would continue to operate the clerk's office according to state legislation. We attend the seminars and orientations that are presented, try to take advantage of as many of those as possible. I do not make the rules, and I cannot make any changes because this is governed by state legislation. But I can make 2 promises. I will continue to hold the office open one Saturday each month for a half day, and I will operate the office efficiently and with courtesy and honesty. If I'm needed off hours, I can be reached by telephone. During the last 12 years since I have been clerk, I've spent many hours after closing time to help anyone who calls me. I've gone back at night many times to take care of business affairs for people who could not come in at the regular hours. This office is the people's office, and I will run it for you. I will run it with courtesy and efficiency, and I welcome anyone to come by anytime with their problems, and we'll help them work it out.
That was Wilma F. Moore. Now to our 4th question, to Nell Frame Smith. What duties do you anticipate if elected in the upcoming term? Nell Smith, you have 5 minutes.
The current duties of the office now are keeping the official records of the county commission, keeping a record of all appropriation and allowances made by the county commission, and all claims chargeable against the county, collecting local and state taxes, which include local wheel taxes, local hotel taxes, wholesale beer taxes, business taxes, and vehicle registration fees, probating deeds and other instruments that are entitled to registration by the law, such as boats or mobile homes, issue marriage licenses, record the names of the people that purchase marriage licenses, and record the returns of the licenses and the date of the ceremonies. And I anticipate more duties to be added in the future, and with an expanding population base, I expect more people to use the office.
That was Nell Frame Smith. And now we in turn ask the question to Wilma Moore. What duties do you anticipate if elected in this upcoming term? Wilma Moore, you have 5 minutes.
Of course, our day-by-day activities include mostly the motor vehicle business. We have license plates in the office now to carry out this year. Of course, this was the first year we've had new plates since 1988. They gave us 6,000 last fall, and we've gone through those, and we have the second shipment in. It's very difficult to get these stacked and in order, but they are in order, and they're going out day by day. Again, these are mandated by the state, and we will do whatever they tell us. The title law becomes complicated daily. We get memos practically every day telling of some change, especially salvaged vehicles. It's very difficult to work those out. The trailer law is another one that is sort of complicated at this point. They've made some changes on those, but we will work with these and work them out, and if anyone has a problem with any of these situations, if we don't know the answer, then we can call Nashville and get the answer. Any other changes that come up, we will handle them as the legislature dictates. The marriages will be completed as started. They will be applied for. There is a 3-day waiting period for marriage licenses for people under the age of 18. We don't have too many of these, but we do have some, and sometimes we have problems with these if parents are not willing for their children to marry, or if there's a divorce and one parent is not willing, the other parent is willing, then these are things we have to work through, and sometimes we have to work through that with the juvenile judge. But these are just minor things, and we can work them out as they come up. I don't see any changes. I don't see any changes in personnel at this point. We're just there to do the best possible job that we can do, and that's what I plan to do.
Wilma F. Moore, as we have completed the questions, we're going to let each candidate have a summary now, and they'll have 5 minutes, and they have, we'll go back with Wilma Moore for her summary, and Wilma, you have 5 minutes.
I think I've really already spent most of my time on a summary. First of all, I am a candidate for county clerk for Lincoln County. I have served in this position for 12 years. I had worked in this position as a deputy clerk for 30 years, starting out very young, but I feel like I have the qualifications to continue in this capacity, and I would appreciate everyone taking this into consideration, that I do have the qualifications to continue to operate the office as efficiently as I can and according to state legislation.
That's Wilma Moore. And as we turn the mic to Nell Fourm Smith for her summary, Ms. Smith, you have 5 minutes.
I gave my education and work experience earlier, and I feel confident I can do the duties of the clerk, and I'm a very responsible person. I'm familiar with changes and the adjustment pressure that goes with them. I will look for ways to eliminate waste and conserve the taxpayers' money. If I'm elected, I will do anything to help someone as long as it is within the state legislation. I feel like if the people of Lincoln County will give me the opportunity to be their county clerk, with the improvements that I have in mind, I can serve them in the most effective and efficient way possible. And I would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
That's Nell Fourm Smith and Wilma Moore. Ladies, we appreciate y'all being here. We hope we have helped out the voter out there. We thank you for letting the voters of Lincoln County know a little bit more about yourself, and I think it's very important. And we thank all of our listeners and our viewers for tuning in. And remember to vote. You can vote now all the way through Election Day on Thursday, August the 4th. We'd like to take this opportunity to let you know about some other of the political forums we have coming up here. And tomorrow, on July the 20th, it's the Register of Deeds with Renus McGeorge and Maxine Thornton, the incumbent. And on Monday, July the 25th, it's the County Executive. And that's with Jerry Mansfield, the incumbent, Nolan Myrick, and also Mickey Stafford. On Tuesday, it's the candidates for sheriff. That's Tuesday, July the 26th. The candidates for sheriff, and those running for sheriff are Tom Bean, Jimmy Mullins, Ernest Jennings, Randall Shelton, the incumbent, and Charles Wilson. So stay tuned for that, and we thank you for listening. Once again, we thank you for tuning in to this broadcast. It's the Breakfast Club Newsmakers Combination. It's a simulcast on AM 1240 WEKR, WYTM FM 105.5, and rebroadcast on Triangle Cablevision.
I close my eyes.
Makers Combination. This is a political forum broadcast here on WEKR AM, WYTM FM, and rebroadcast on Triangle Cablevision. Now, the rules of this forum have been set aside on and agreed on by these candidates for Register of Deeds. The candidates are, in alphabetical order, to my left is Renus McGeorge, and Maxine Thornton is to my right. She is the incumbent for Register of Deeds. Thank y'all for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Don. Yes.
Here are the rules for this political forum, and this one, just like the rest of them, it's not a debate. And we're here to give these candidates the opportunity to express their opinion and position in regard to this office. Now, the questions that will be asked are reflective of the calls and letters that we've received. Many of the calls and questions that we've received cannot be asked because they're more oriented to debate. And for complete fairness, all calls and letters have been edited so that they can be addressable to both candidates. No one question will be directed to one individual candidate. This is not a debate. This is a forum in which each candidate will be asked identical questions for fairness to everyone. Each candidate will be allowed 5 minutes to address each question, and when the time is up, they must stop. We'll give each candidate also 5 minutes at the end of the summary, at the end of the forum, for opportunity for summary. First of all, let's find out a little bit about the Office of Register of Deeds. It has a yearly salary of $40,964, which has been set aside by the General Assembly of the state. The Register of Deeds' principal duty, that has also been outlined by the state, is to file or record the registration of deeds, powers of attorney, mortgages, liens, contracts, plats, leases, judgments, military discharges, uniform commercial codes, and many other documents. The Register of Deeds Office provides a public record of various transactions that affect the public interest. The Register of Deeds is given specific statutory directives by the state on how to index, record, and maintain the records of the office. The Register of Deeds is responsible for the collection of state conveyance tax, the transfer and mortgage taxes, and the Register of Deeds is responsible for keeping accurate records of the fees, commissions, and taxes collected by the office. Both the Register of Deeds and their deputies are required to take the oath of office. Now, all the excess fees from the Register of Deeds office are turned back to the county and will go into the general fund. Let's get into the questions, and we're going to get started with Renus McGeorge. Renus, tell us a little bit about yourself, your backgrounds, and your qualifications for this office. Renus McGeorge, you have 5 minutes.
Well, thank you, Don, for having me here. Today, my name is... Sorry about this. My name is Renus McGeorge. I'm running for the Office of Register of Deeds. I'd like to tell you a little about myself. I was born in Kentucky, grew up there, went to school there. I graduated from Lynch High School in Lynch, Kentucky. It was there that I met my wife, Mary Jo, like Miss Thornton. She's a hairdresser too. We came to Lincoln County some 23 years ago for a visit. Fell in love with the people, the county, decided to stay here. We've raised our 2 children here, and now they both work here and raising their family here. Our daughter Dee Dee is married to Bill Sneed and have 2 daughters, Mary Beth and Morgan. And her son Renus is married to the Fourm, Rachel Thomas. They have 2 sons, Dustin and Tyler. I also do volunteer work for the Salvation Army, Meals on Wheels program. My interest in the youth of Lincoln County led me to serve on the board and coach at South Lincoln for some 23 years. We attend the Church of Highland Methodist Church in Park City. I have worked at a manor, on a grocery store, in the Howe Hill community. Worked for Country Hearth Bread. I've met many fine people in Lincoln County. I hope I can continue to serve them. As for now, I'm asking for your vote come August 4th. Thank you.
Renus McGeorge, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. As we turn the mic now to Maxine Thornton, Maxine, tell us about yourself and your backgrounds and your qualifications for this office. And Miss Maxine, you have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Don. Thank you for the opportunity to see the people, or talk to the people that I might not have been able to see. I am Maxine Thornton, daughter of Mary Margaret Gowan and the late Maxie Gowan. I was born and raised in the Mimosa community, went to Mimosa School, graduated from Central High School, and have taken some classes at Motlow College here. I'm the widow of Richard Thornton. We were married for 42 years and have 4 daughters. Vicki Monks is a registered nurse at Harton Hospital in Tullahoma and works part-time for home health here. Melinda Williams, a registered nurse in the emergency room at Lincoln Regional Hospital and works part-time at Harton. Angie Allen is a student at Motlow and also going into nursing. And Tammy Van Ness just completed her master's degree in elementary education and moves to Chicago. I moved in with my mother last November. She's 85 years old, and this has been good for both of us. I'm a Christian, member of First Baptist Church, teach 5th and 6th grade girls Sunday school. I'm a member of the Kiwanis Club, and I have served as your Register of Deeds for the past 2.5 years.
Okay. Maxine Thornton, as we come right back to you, you'll take the first on the second question. The question is, Maxine, why are you continuing to run for Register of Deeds?
Well, as I said, I have served as your Register of Deeds for the past 2.5 years. You've entrusted me with the duty of recording some of the most important documents in our county. Therefore, it must be done accurately. You know, this is your deed to your home, and also a trust deed to the money you may have borrowed on your home. So this really requires accuracy and needs to be done very correctly. I accepted this duty and have diligently strived to carry out this task on a daily basis and in a professional manner. I have tried to treat each of you in a friendly and courteous way. I've enjoyed learning this work. You meet a lot of people, the newcomers to our community who are buying property and here and planning to make this their home. You get to see them, one of the first people maybe that you see there, and hopefully make a good impression with them. Then the other people that we deal with is probably some people that have been here for some time and maybe a little more familiar, but we enjoy serving them as well. 2 years ago when I ran for this office with 5 other people, I won with 45% of the votes. And believe me, this is a very humbling experience. I'm most thankful to each of you, and in return I want to serve you with my entire energies and abilities. Then too, it's my job, not my office. It's your office that I'm running for you. I've tried to see everyone, and I'm still trying to from 4 o'clock until dark, but this county is very big, and I apologize to the people that I haven't been able to see, but maybe I'm seeing you this morning, and I may see you yet as I go from door to door. And I would like to say at this point that I will not work the polls on Election Day. I feel that this is a bother to the people trying to vote. So if I don't see you before Election Day, that's will be the last of it anyway, and I would appreciate your vote.
Thank you. That's Maxine Thornton. And as we're on question number 2, we go to Renus McGeorge. And Renus, tell us why you're running for the office of Register of Deeds.
Don, I have served the people of our county for so many years. I want to continue doing so in a different captivity. Sorry about that. There comes a time in your life when you want to do something different. Call it a career change if you want. I think I'm as qualified as any person taking office, and I know I can do the job. I run the office in a friendly and professional manner. Thank you.
Okay, Renus, we come right back to you on question number 3. And the question is, if elected, what improvements will you make in this office and its operations? Renus, you have 5 minutes.
I think that's a hard question to ask until you actually get into office. I know many legal instruments comes into the office that needs to be received immediately, since timing is very important. There are codes that each instrument is required to meet prior to recording. I study the laws and work with the people in any way I can to make everything recorded properly.
Okay. Renus McGeorge, and to Maxine Thornton. If you're elected, Maxine, what improvements will you make in this office and its operations? Maxine, you have 5 minutes.
Well, it's just to trying to keep everything accurate, to watch for any changes in laws, to attend any seminars or classes that are helpful information to our office. I have 2 full-time deputies, which both of these girls have about 10 years experience in the office, and 1 part-time with approximately 2 years experience. They are very capable, dependable, and knowledgeable, and all working together for the best interest of the office. I try to keep my budget as low as possible. It's my tax money as well. We're on a fees office. The state sets our rates for us. For instance, we're charged 11.5 cents. We charge 11.5 cents per hundred on deeds of trust or mortgages, 37 cents a hundred on deeds. This past June, we deposited $34,461.40. We paid the state $25,454.81. And we had an excess of $7,000 that we paid to our trustee that went into the general fund. Our payroll was $5,536.85. And from January until June of this year, we recorded approximately 6,000 instruments. Our budget for the year is $7,300. Out of this, we bought 1 direct and 1 reverse index book, which cost us approximately $950. 1 general index books, $500. 1 UCC index books, $500. And about $600 worth of receipt books, $1,000 worth of deeds and trust deed miscellaneous books. And of course, now these receipt books, deeds, and trust deeds, miscellaneous books, this will vary depending on the economy, of course, depending on how many houses sell and how much money is borrowed and that type thing. Then, of course, we have to add our paper that we use, communication, postage, supplies, service contracts for machines, and that type thing.
Okay. Maxine, we go to question number 4, and you'll take the first shot at it. What duties do you anticipate, if re-elected, in the upcoming term? Maxine Thornton, you have 5 minutes.
I mean, what? The duties of the office? Well, I don't think there will be much change. I think a lot of our counties are going to computers, and I suppose this will, somewhere in our future, that practically everything is, but I don't see this in our immediate future. We do our general indexes on books on computers now, but I don't see computerizing our entire operation now. Just keeping an orderly operation with accuracy and as quickly as possible is the most important part of our job. But just going on kind of the way we're going and just trying to get more perfection, and of course no one's perfect, and we know that, but working to our dead level best to get this.
Maxine Thornton. Now, Renus McGeorge. Renus, tell us about what duties you anticipate if you're elected in the upcoming term for Register of Deeds. Renus, you have 5 minutes.
Well, Don, you know you receive all records, instruments such as deeds, trusts, like you said earlier, and uniform commercial codes. I will double check all, I can't even read that, to make sure they are accurate. I will, with the county court's permission, have recorded microfilm, so if one is damaged, some may be copied, sorry about that. So if one is damaged in some way, it could be reconstructed on the use of the microfilm on file in Nashville. These are some of the things I want to do when elected.
Okay. Thank you, Renus. Renus, we come right back to you on the summary. As we get down to the last portion of this, each candidate will have 5 minutes for summary. And Renus, you have 5 minutes.
I'd like to say again that if elected, I promise to run the office of Register of Deeds for the people of Lincoln County. This will be a full-time job for me, since I have no other business or business interests that would interfere with the duties of this office. I thank you very much for allowing me to be here, and again I ask for your support on August 4th. Exercise your right to vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Renus. Okay, Maxine. Maxine Thornton, you have 5 minutes for summary.
Okay, I guess to summarize all this, I'd just like to say that how grateful I am for the people that have supported me. And like I said, I try to plan our budget as economically as possible. It is my tax money as well as yours. We try to do everything in the office as accurately and as fast as we can. And beginning July 1st, state has taken back the job of microfilm in all of our records, which is important. They will, I don't know when they'll be in Fayetteville, but sometime. And then we have keeping our staff, and I am very proud of our staff. They work hard to do this accurately. They're very knowledgeable of the work. And again, I would just like to take this opportunity to ask the people watching for their vote, and apologize again to the ones that I have not been able to see, but like I said, I'm still out there trying, and maybe I'll see and hopefully see everyone before then. But please re-elect Maxine Thornton, Register of Deeds. Thank you.
Maxine, thank you. Renus, thank y'all for coming.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Renus McGeorge and Maxine Thornton, we thank you for letting Lincoln County, the voters, know a little bit more about yourself, and appreciate y'all coming out here. And we thank our listeners and our viewers, and we ask that all of you get out and exercise your right to vote on Thursday, August the 4th. We'd like to take this opportunity also to let you know about some of the other political forums we have coming up. On Monday, it's the County Executive Forum, and that's with Jerry Mansfield, the incumbent, Nola Myrick, and Mickey Stafford. They'll be here. And also on Tuesday, it's the candidates for sheriff, and that is Tom Bean, Jimmy Mullins, Ernest Jennings, Randall Shelton, the incumbent, and Charles Wilson. We thank you once again for listening and to this broadcast. It's a Breakfast Club Newsmakers combination. It's a simulcast on AM 1240 WEKR, FM 105 WYTM, and rebroadcast on Triangle Cablevision.
And married to Joyce Myrick for 27 years. She's my only wife. She's a good-looking woman. We made a vow, married for better or worse. She couldn't have done no better. I don't believe I could have done no worse. And I've been farming down there at Malina for 18 years, baling hay. I tried milking, like some of you. Raised 2 kids, one of them's in law school. The other one lives across the road. Now we're raising galts down there, so we got a grandson. He'll be the big kahuna now. I'm just proud to be able to run in a country like this, for a person like me that can work all his life, sit before a group of people like this in a free country. It's 218 years old this month. I'll be 50 years old election day. I'm scared as crap sitting here for you right now, and there's a guy over here getting ready to put me on there. I'll be the first y'all to get to see you. I hope I'm the one y'all vote for first when you get in that booth, because I know it's scary. It's a great obligation. We owe it to our children. I owe it to my friends. This job pays $47,313. It's more than I make in 4 years. So I can work 4 times as hard as your county executive. And I'm not down here with a prepared script. I'm down here with an open heart. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to be straight with you right now. I'm going to look you in the eye like I always have. If I'm county executive and you come for me with a question, you're going to get a straight answer. You might not even like it. But I'm going to do everything I can for my family, my God, and the church that I go to. I go down here to Calvary Christian Center. That's an easy job to go on Sunday. The hard part's living right the rest of the 6 days. I adhere to the principles of Jesus Christ. I've tried to live right. Moved here, I wasn't doing so hot, and then I accepted the Lord, and I'm going to try to, best of my ability, to be what Lincoln County needs. To be a new era if you elect me. Because I'm really concerned. I'm concerned about your children. I'm concerned about mine. I'm concerned about all them people driving to Lewisburg every day to work. I know how it feels. When I first moved here, I had to drive 78 miles one way to work for 2 years. First year, I baled 20,000 bales of hay. And this year, I ain't been out roaming around grinning and talking to you much, because I've already baled 20,000 again this year. And I used to farm 6 days a week, and it got where I couldn't. I had to take a job now every Thursday down to Farmer's Auction. And believe it or not, this is what I do down there, talk on the microphone. Old Benny must have realized I had a talent. So he put me to work talking. And I'm going to do more than talk as your county executive. I'm going to be out running you all day. When we got a problem, I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to deal with it like I do in my daily life. I'm going to face each problem as I come to it. And I'm going to do everything in my power. I'll be county executive seven days a week. It'll be on my mind, just like it's on my mind now. And folks, you better really think about what's happening in our nation, because we're going to lose it. Old George and Washington and Jefferson and Adams, all of them come walking down the street, they'd probably be encouraging a revolt. When taxes go up every year and your income goes down, it's rough. And I've been out there with you unloading your cows and listening to you and looking at you every Thursday. And I know how you feel when I see you sitting there at midnight propping your eyes open, wondering what your cows is going to bring, knowing in your heart it ain't going to be enough. And I'm sincere, and believe it or not, I ain't got but about 30 more seconds, and I'm going to hand it over to Mickey now.
Okay. That is Nolan Myrick there. We'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for watching on Triangle Cablevision, who just joined us. I would like to let you know that you're watching a political forum here, and this is County Executive Jerry Mansfield, the incumbent for the office, and this is Nolan Myrick to my right, and Mickey Stafford, candidates for County Executive. And as we're on question number 1, we go to Mickey Stafford. Mickey, tell us about yourself and your background, your qualifications for this office. Mickey, you have 5 minutes.
Okay. Thank you, Don. I'd like to thank you for inviting me here today to give us this opportunity to present ourselves to your radio listeners and to the cable vision, or the cable viewers. Now, I'm the son of Edward and Penny Stafford. My wife, Cammie, and I have been married for 20 years, and we have 2 children, Caleb, 14, Carla, 12. We operate a cattle farm that's located between Howell Hill and Park City. My father is a retired dairy farmer. My mother has worked at Walmart, I guess, for the past 15 years now in the fabric department. My wife, Cammie, has been employed by Copperwell now for about 19 years, just shortly after we were married. And we've been married for 20 years. My children first attended Highland Rim School until the new South Lincoln School was built. And now next year, or just in a few weeks when school starts back, they'll both be attending Flintville Junior High. We're all members of Prospect Baptist Church, where Cammie and I both teach Sunday school classes.
Just a little bit.
For my qualifications, I have been out talking to people and asking people to vote for me, and I'd say most of them could tell you that I'm not a slick politician. I'm just a concerned person that's running for the office. And there's a lot of things I'd like to see changed. Now, I'm not part of any kind of clique. I'm not from a wealthy or powerful family. And my family name's not been associated with politics. But I do have the experience of having served as a county commissioner in the 8th District for the past 8 years. I've always taken my responsibilities in this role very seriously. I've always researched as thoroughly as possible every matter that's come before the county commission. I've attended seminars and conferences regularly that have been offered by the University of Tennessee, the Tennessee County Services Association, and the Tennessee County Commissioners Association. During this time, I've also completed the University of Tennessee's County Official Certificate Training Program, which is a 3-level program with 115 hours of program required. It's intended to promote increased efficiency in county government through professional development. Some of the courses that were offered dealt with every aspect of county government. And just as an example, some of them were financial management, computer application, productivity management, personnel management, legal issues, and ethics in government. Now, in April of 1993, I was certified as a public administrator by the University of Tennessee under this program. Now, these programs have given me a broader view of the possibilities for improving our county government. I have not been self-serving as a county commissioner, and I will not be as a county executive. I will have a common sense approach to solving problems.
Thank you. That was Mickey Stafford. Now we're ready for question number 2, and this one will start with you, Nolan Myrick. Why are you running for this office? Nolan Myrick, you have 5 minutes.
I'm running for this office because I've always felt like if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. I've run around griping half of my life about everything. And if we're going to change anything and get this government and this country back to where our grandkids can walk around free in the streets and our grandparents can come out behind them bars in their homes at night in town and not be afraid, we're going to have to do something. I don't have a lot of time left in this life, and I'm determined to quit griping and do something about it. This is my 3rd attempt at public office. I'm a little bit like Abraham Lincoln. He run 9 times. Failed in business 3 times, and only got elected once. So I figure my day's coming. Every dog has his day. And I can do a lot of good for this county. And I do a lot of good for the people and return this country to one nation under God with liberty and justice for all. That's what it's all about. It's not about running around wanting everything for yourself. It's giving. It's caring. It's just like living your life. If you see a man in need, help him. Don't ask him about what his preferences are. Don't worry about his religion. Just help the man. And the government needs to be more responsive to the needs of the people. Where are our children going to work? Do you want to spend all your life raising your kids and then not not get to grow old with them and see them here at home? You want them running down to Huntsville, letting them get mugged about Mareeville? And they'll be in Humana Hospital down there wondering why did Daddy do something where I could stay at home and work? And farming, I've farmed most all my life. And it's getting where you can't make a living at that. I see all you people doing your best, getting up real early, hauling your cows, and doing all you can, and then going to Huntsville to work or wherever. And it's not anybody's fault here in town. It's not the people's been in government, I don't guess. It's not their fault. No one man can do anything. But if we'll come together as a town and as a county and take this energy we have and put it to one purpose and send mandates to Nashville, tell them what we want to do. We're boss. We're the people running the thing. Jefferson outlined this thing. Study Jeffersonian democracy. He said, government. We need less government to be more effectual and to meet the needs of the people. They didn't mean for us to have every kind of old regulation and stifle small business and do such as we've done in this nation and send people to Washington that's never had a job. You know, we can talk about people here in town maybe that come from rich families or something. I ain't going to talk about nobody, but what about some of the people we send to Washington? What about some of our people up there never had a job, never had to be somewhere at 8:30 in the morning and talk on the radios and sitting here before 2 of these things and looking into a doggone TV camera? Man, that's like looking down the barrel of a rifle sitting here. We need to come together, people. And when we go to church, believe what we hear, and then go home and say, yeah, I can do something about it. I don't want my kids to have to go through what I've gone through. I'm telling you like it is. I can make a difference. That's why I'm running for office, because I want to see something right here before I lay down and die, before all they have to come up there at the funeral home and look at me and say, well, he didn't do nothing. He just chased that dollar. Well, I'm not chasing the dollar no more. I'm going to do something for that little boy I got at home this morning. That's what I'm doing it for, and I'll be the best you ever had.
That's Nolan Myrick. Now we'll turn the mic to Mickey Stafford, and we ask you, Mickey, why are you running for this office? You have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Don. My time as county commissioner has brought me to the realization that our county government is not doing all that it can, and that it lacks the leadership to serve all the people effectively. I am concerned about our parents, our grandparents on fixed incomes about the lack of industrial growth in our county and why some areas of our county do not have the services that others have. We must find ways to expand our tax base instead of raising our taxes. We must recapture tax revenues that we are losing to surrounding areas. Now, I have experienced a county government with no direction, no organization. There are good people involved, but they're on their own doing the best they can. There's been no planning, long-term or otherwise. We just react to the problems as they develop. If anyone tells you that we have these things, it's been one of the best kept secrets in Lincoln County. The flow of information to you, the public, has been very lacking. To me, this is one of the most dangerous situations we have. Our local government, which is the very foundation of our nation, is being eroded by this. Local government, in many cases, is no longer in charge of its own departments. Some officials, by lobbying the state legislature for mandates to local governments, have become almost an authority unto themselves. Professional politicians across this state have made these departments serve the office holder rather than the people. This problem has led to another: no incentive for efficiency in our county government, and all of these problems exist because there's no leadership to do otherwise. Things that we're not doing in our county government, you would not tolerate in your homes or your businesses. The political games must stop. We have to change the way we operate county government. When our youngest children today have grown to the responsibilities of adulthood, their position in this county will have been determined by what provisions we make today for their education, for their health care, their opportunities for a good home, a good job, and a good life here in Lincoln County. Now, I would like my children to be able to stay here in Lincoln County. Our children is one of our greatest resources, and in many cases we're losing that resource.
Mickey Stafford, thank you. And now we ask Jerry Mansfield, why are you continuing to run for this office? Jerry, you have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Don. We're continuing to run for this office for the very same reasons we ran for it to begin with. Lincoln County at this time is enjoying the lowest unemployment rate that it's had in the last 4 years. We're looking at a 4.1, and that's not a result of anything the county executive or the county executive's office has done. It's a result of a cooperativeness between both governments, both state and city government and state government, along with economic community development. I look for that trend to continue from now on. As county executive, you can, whoever the individual is, you can develop a very good rapport with your state elected officials, and without their support and without their backing, you're not going to make a whole lot of progress. As far as looking at future growth, let's look back a little bit. Let's look at, we've received in the last 3 years almost $750,000 worth of money from state and federal government through the state ECD for water line extension in this county. And I think the main thing is usually said, without water you don't get growth. Without water you don't get the road later on, and you don't get the houses in there, and you don't get additional people populating that general area. It's a pleasure for me to try to work out the details between state government, state representatives, state senators, to try to bring about certain situations of that same nature. We have sitting on 64 Highway on the left before we get to Eagle Snacks, a monument to cooperative leadership based on the last 2 administrations in the county executive's office and the last 2 county commissions, and our state representatives, Mr. Phillips, Mr. Folks, and Senator Cooper. The Motlow State Community College presence out there is indeed an asset to this community, and it's a result of not only cooperating in this, but you have local contributions and you have private contributions, local government contributions. Started off with $500,000 from the state of Tennessee, and is at this point less than $70,000 toward being finally paid off of a $1 million project. I commend the people that were involved in that. That's what it takes to make a community grow and develop, and that's what it takes to make this county look good. Our young people are definitely our future, and if we don't have a place to have them work, as the previous candidates have said, we have to have employment opportunities here. But at the same time, if they're not trained in the skills that fill those particular slots, it hadn't done a tremendous amount of good. I commend Motlow's presence in this community and appreciate them for going their extra mile to get here. As far as currently what's happening in economic community development, like most of us know that we're losing our recruiter at this time. We hate to see Mark Coppin go back to Chattanooga, but that's personally, that's a personal decision on their behalf based on what's best for their family. But he has brought about some things, and with cooperativeness again, we have for the first time in Lincoln County a TIP grant, which comes through the state of Tennessee, and that's monies that in our particular case, the county is in the lead this time. Undoubtedly, so few counties get in the lead that the state sent down the state's formula for our city's contribution. What it is, if you're expanding jobs in the community, the state of Tennessee will furnish 80% of the money, if the county will furnish the other 20%. So we split with the city of Fayetteville 10% apiece. If the city had taken the lead, it would have meant another, it would have been 25-75. So we appreciate once again the state of Tennessee backing us, but without the ability to talk to your state representatives, talk to your state officials, and develop a rapport with them, you don't get these type programs. They don't happen. We've had a county commission, for the most part, it's been a very progressive county commission. They've backed each one of these endeavors. The TIP program, all the CDGB programs, all the water line extensions that we could get, they've backed every one of them. Gratefully, they hadn't had to back it with monetary, by monetary means as far as the water line extensions are concerned. The matching money that's come from local level has been furnished by the state, by the Lincoln County Board of Public Utilities. Our office is more than pleased to work as a liaison between state and local government, federal, state, and local government, and the whole 9 yards of what it takes to accomplish tasks of that nature, and we'll continue to do that.
That's Jerry Mansfield. We go to question number 3 now, and this one will be starting with Mickey Stafford. Mickey, if elected, what improvements will you make in this office and its operations? Mickey, you have 5 minutes.
As county executive, one of my goals will be to create a more honest and open county government. I will make sure that no issue comes before the county commission without the commissioners and the citizens of Lincoln County having had time to form an opinion with all the known facts available to all and not just to a few. I will furnish a copy of the Budget Committee's agenda and the County Commission's agenda to the news media. I will always be available to you. I will tell you the truth and what the facts of the matter are, and not just what I think you want to hear. I will place a suggestion box in the main hallway of the courthouse for everyone's use. Another of my goals will be a more efficient and effective county government. All parts of our local government in the future will have to learn to provide more services with less tax dollars. We must question all that the county does and find the most cost-efficient ways of providing those services. I believe we must plan for tomorrow today. I will ask the County Commission to set goals and objectives for the next 4 years and beyond. Our world is changing at a rapid pace. How we handle the changes that come is very important. I want to make change benefit us, not burden us. I will strive for a cooperative government. We must work together if we are to move forward. Everyone who can contribute time or talent must be allowed a means to do so. I will not be a one-man show. I will welcome the help of anyone who wishes to contribute to improving Lincoln County and making it an even better place to live. I will establish a volunteer network to match needs with talent. Too long, Lincoln County has been a house divided. Our county must stand together and support each other if we are to build a better future for ourselves. We've lost 2 industrial recruiters within a 2-year period. It's obvious that something is wrong. I will work closely with industrial recruiting to identify what problems exist and work to eliminate those problems.
That was Mickey Stafford. Folks, you're listening to a political forum on AM 1240 WEKR, Fayetteville, Tennessee, and FM 105.5 WYTM here in Fayetteville, and also on Triangle Cablevision. We're on question number 3, and we turn this one over to Jerry Mansfield. Mr. Mansfield, if re-elected, what improvements will you make in this office and its operations? Jerry, you have 5 minutes.
Many of the improvements are already in place, Don, and we're looking at also to continue in that role. Our office is operating with less operating money right now than they did 4 years ago. We'll continue to try to keep it as efficient as possible. Some of that reduced operating cost is a result of the County Commission's adoption of the 1981 Financial Management Act and the hiring of a finance director by the County Finance Committee. We've worked to make that work. We weren't necessarily in favor of that on the beginning, but we have made every effort to make the investment that the County Commission has placed within financial management's realm, make it work, because it would be a disgrace and a dishonor not to allow something the County Commission has promoted to work at its best. We've done that. So far, some of the payback is coming from the 1981 Financial Management enactment. It's within its 3rd year. Some good things are going to come out of it. We hope that some savings come out of it. If elected again, I hope to work closer, much closer, and they are now through the Finance Director's Office with the Department of Education. As I stated a while ago, education is the key to the future of this county. We have to maintain a viable tax base and at the same time a reasonable tax rate, but we've got to promote education in this county. Without it, we're all going backward. We'll wind up having to raise more taxes if you don't have people with a better education, people that can take care of themselves with a better job. We intend to work closely with the Board of Education as possible. Of course, there is no legal ramifications involved in the County Executive's office, but the Superintendent and I talk almost on a daily basis and try to make sure that some of the decisions that have to be made that are very controversial and very territorial between the County Commission and the county's school board can be worked out for the benefit of what's best for this county. I intend to work once again as a liaison between these officials to try to make sure that the best decision possible is made, and when we have points arise in the County Commission, when feelings do tend to get stepped on or out of the ordinary from normal operating as we do in the County Commission, I'll act as a person that will try to bring about a peaceful solution to that and have been doing that. That's my intentions for the next term.
Okay, that's Jerry Mansfield. Now, Nolan Myrick, if you're elected, what improvements will you make in this office and its operations? Nolan, you have 5 minutes.
I'm going to promise to bring a new energy to the office of County Executive, and I'm going to do everything in my power to keep taxes either where they are or make them lower. I believe an increase in taxes is a sign of a sick economy. You can't tax people and bring forth prosperity. Taxes and taxation only tend to demoralize people, bring them to a point of no hope. And I'm going to look into this Financial Management Act. Personally, Nolan Myrick didn't want it. I don't like it. I think everybody that's handling county money in any official capacity should have to answer to the people. And you answer to the people, and they can either keep you in or they can put you out. And I'm not running for county executive in hopes of being re-elected or having a political future. That's not why I'm running. I'm running to see if I can't bring forth some type of change in this thing. I'm sick of it. That's the theme, I guess, if I've got one in my campaign. I'm tired of it. I've worked all my life, 37 years farming and working at public works some way or another to be able to farm. And I'm not going to pass that legacy on to my children. I want to get in there and do something for you and for me. I'm not going to talk about being open or direct with you when I'm elected. I'm going to do it right now. And I'm not bitter. I just feel an urgency. It's in the air. My preacher the other day said, let's get stirred up. Well, he didn't have to tell me. I wake up every morning, stirred up, and my wife works all day trying to unstir me, folks. And when I get in there, I'm going to know you up there at the M&E. I'm going to know you at Hardee's every morning when I'm eating, and I'm going to shoot the bull just like I always have. But I'm serious. There's a serious side to Nolan Meyer. And that's when I get in the office, I'm going to be at the commission meetings there and really stir this thing up. It's time we as a people decided that we're going to make some changes. I believe this financial management advisor pays $38,000 a year. $38,000 a year. And I've talked to a lot of you, and your wives are having to work so you can have health insurance. So you can have health insurance, see, just so you can get sick and won't lose your farm or your home to some catastrophic illness. The real issues are not what we are being told they are. The issues are survival out there. I'm out there on the street with you. I know it's hot. I don't have an air-conditioned truck. I don't even have an air-conditioned house. See? Kitchen floor's rotting in. But I put my priorities right. I'm educating my children. I care about children. And I'm going to work with the Board of Education. I'm going to work with everybody. You're going to see Nolan Myrick all over town just like you see him now. And I'm not going to change. What you've been seeing the past 18 years is what you're going to get. You're going to get a man that really cares, not afraid of work. You can't work me down. I'm just going to get in there and lay with you. And we're going to straighten this thing out if you want to. But if you don't want to, it'll be just like it's been. So one man, whether it be Jerry or Mickey or me, one man not going to change much or nothing but his clothes and his attitude. See, there's nothing one man can do. He can only change that space he's standing on. But if I get in as your county executive, I'll work for the next 4 years. And if you don't want me at the end of that 4 years, just vote me out. It'll be that simple. Thank you.
That's Nolan Myrick. Okay, we're going to question number 4 now, and this one will start with Jerry Mansfield. Jerry, what duties do you anticipate if elected in the upcoming term?
Well, it's almost questioned before. Let me expound, I guess, on what we were talking about before. Some of the things that we see coming to us that we need to have in the next 4 years. I guess one of the darkest days in my life was September the 1st, 1973. And an automobile accident on the Huntsville Highway claimed the life of my mother and nearly claimed the life of my sister. So ever since then, I've been concerned about safety on that highway, and I think a lot of us have. Anytime that you're going from here to Huntsville, Alabama, through Park City, and you have to make a left-hand turn at some business down there, and you're sitting dead stopped in the fast lane of that 4-lane highway without a turn lane, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to rest until we get a turn lane, at least from the top of Park City Hill all the way to the state line. It's going to save lives. It's going to enhance the safety of that entire area out there, and the area can't grow without it. Many things have been talked about as far as Park City is concerned, as far as incorporation and sewer and things of that nature. But one of the first things we've got to do is get traffic safety and signal, and that concern addressed at that particular part of the county. The traffic signals that our state legislative delegation allowed us to get this time didn't cost the county a single penny as far as the first part of the implementation. We got $37,000+ from the state of Tennessee. We placed a traffic signal that's state of the art out Highland Rim Road. And I think all of you that have carried your children back and forth to Highland Rim School have realized that that's a boon to that area of the county. That same appropriation brought about a traffic signal, safety signalization at Taft, Tennessee, where we had a fatality a few years ago. A child was killed there. It brought about a signalization at Elora at 121 and 122. By the time we got through bidding this out, I think it wound up costing, total cost was some $41,000 to $42,000. So it only cost the county some $45,000 out of pocket for a $40,000+ project. These are the type of projects I intend to continue, along with the fire and safety of this county. We helped with the help of other officials to bring about a problem that's been facing this county for many years, and that's entrapment in wrecked vehicles. We have been had been lax in the past few years. If you had someone that was trapped in a wrecked vehicle. Couldn't, when the ambulance service got there, they were incapable of carrying the extrication equipment with them because of the tools and size of their vehicles. We took a step toward taking care of that. We have asked the rescue squad to, in their reorganized status, to respond to those type wrecks. They will be carrying state-of-the-art extrication equipment. And you say, well, we may not use those but once or twice a year. But if it's your family, that once or twice a year, or your loved one that once or twice a year, is well worth the money that it takes to have such a service available in your county. If you want services like this, you have to pay for them. In many cases, it has to come out of local appropriations, and the extrication dollars did. But very few beneficial dollars come back to the public themselves. But one that I would like to bring up this morning is in regard to lowering your insurance rating. County Commission has very few things that they can do that can reduce the amount of money that you spend as a family unit, but we all have to have house insurance. And every step that the County Commission takes, and they've taken several, that enhances the fire safety of this community and all of its fire stations, puts us one step further toward reducing the insurance that you pay in your premium, your yearly or your bi-yearly premium. That's money that you're putting back in your pocket that you have. That's tax dollars well spent, and that's a service that's been long needed. And I commend the volunteer fire department for going that extra mile, spending their own extra money, putting their life on the line each time they have to respond to a fire, and being willing to come to the county commission with a hat in the hand and say we need some matching money, because it's going to save all of us money. It's going to save it's going to save lives also. And I appreciate them for doing that. And that's some of the areas that we intend to promote and push this next term.
That was Jerry Mansfield. Now, Nolan Myrick, what duties do you anticipate if elected in the upcoming term?
I'd like to see us fight in every way we can to keep our taxes in line, keep our expenditures in line with our income. That's one job one thing I figure would be a hard job. And as county executive, I'll have the ability to know what a dollar's worth. I've not been accustomed to a lot of money here lately. I used to make good money when I lived in Huntsville, but moved here and quit, started milking. I didn't make a lot of money, but I know what a dollar's worth. And I intend to try to do something to help the children of this county. That'd be one improvement, to really help them. And I'd like to see this volunteer fire department expand. I've got a lot of friends that are volunteer firemen. Boys, it's helped me haul hay. I've watched them grow up and they've become volunteer firemen. And I really appreciate them out there when they're trying to save our homes and our property and such as that. But it'll be a hard job, and we got the resources to do it. And I'm going to improve everything I can and be working at it full time. Thank you.
That's Nolan Myrick, and now we go to Mickey Stafford. Mickey, what duties do you anticipate if elected in the upcoming term?
Probably the greatest duty I see will be to help people with problems. We have a lot of services that don't seem to be equal in all parts of the county. I know, especially in the north end of the county, a lot of people wonder why they can't get the roads mowed and why they don't get the water. I know it costs more to place water in these areas, but we still have to work toward that. And anytime we can get a grant from the state, that helps a lot. But still, even without those type of help, we still have to work toward providing services toward the less populated areas. Another duty that I see will be to work closely with all the departments, making sure their budgets stay in line. To work closely with the county commissioners to set goals and objectives, to make some long-range plans, see what their concerns are from their districts, what they want to do, and then start working toward that. We need to work closely with our legislative delegation and our state senator to make sure that when all the pork barrel type things roll around at the end of the year that we get our share of them too. Now, they've taken pretty good care of us, but you know, we can do a little better, and it's going to take all the people involved, and anybody that has any influence needs to be called upon to help with that. One other thing I'd like to see is a maintenance program for all our county buildings. That's something that's been very lacking. I know the school board right now is making efforts to put more money into maintenance. We need to do that also at the county level, because a lot of our buildings are being neglected. We need to work closely with the Department of Transportation. Now, every time we need signalization in an area, of course, they don't want to do it. Now, in most cases where it's needed, it is a state or a federal highway, and local government shouldn't have to bear that blunt. We have some areas, especially 231 from the top of the hill to the state line, as you've heard other candidates say, needs to have a turn lane. It's a very dangerous situation, and that's an area that we've worked on for the previous two administrations, and we need to continue to work. We need to pull in as many people as we can that can help with that. But we have a lot of problems, and with the people of this county, we can solve them if we'll just all work together.
Thank you, Mickey Stafford. Okay, and now we're ready for the summary, and we're going to start with Nolan Myrick.
I'll try to make this short and sweet, but in summarizing, I'd like to just say that it's the man right here on the TV that you need to be thinking about. You've got 10 more days to really study, or some of you can go vote now, or you can vote early now. But when we talk about all this stuff we can do, nobody can do anything. That's the point I'm trying to make by himself. This will have to be a united effort of the people of Lincoln County, or nothing will happen. I hang around out there at top Park City Hill a whole lot. I was out there yesterday evening eating at the M&E. Well, I hang around at the Monk's Market there, and it's dangerous, man. There's a guy even built a fence there where you can't see to get out. I know about that danger. I had a wreck up there the other day. And look what a loss the county would have had then if I'd have died. But I'm just telling you folks, all this is serious. But remember this, all that money that we talk about getting from Nashville and from Washington, where y'all think that comes from? It's coming from Malina down there off some of them hay bales I'm baling. There's no such thing as federal money, state money. Man, that's our money. They're not giving us nothing we hadn't already had to send them. Wake up. You know, get real quiet and listen here in the next 15 minutes, because you're going to hear something from all three of us. See, it's our summary, the end, but it's just the beginning for me. See, I can't tell you about a lot of committees or fancy words or stuff. I could, you know, but I can't tell you about this county executive because I hadn't never been there yet. But I guarantee you when I get there 4 years from now, y'all will be able to tell everybody about county executive because you're going to know him. I'm going to be out there stirring that bucket, folks. I create a stink everywhere I go. But it's time we realize there's nobody giving us nothing. There's no free lunches. Everything that comes down the pipe, folks, we paid for it. That's a fact of life. And we can talk about signals up Park City, and I'm not running these other folks down. I'm just telling you how I feel. We can talk about a lot of things, see. We got a new army, and the arsenal's laying off. You know, the Cold War's over, and we got an army. See, I don't understand half of it. We got spec buildings. We got empty buildings. We got kids that's not working. But the point I'm trying to make in summarizing this thing is if we don't all wake up and look at it like it really is, it's not going to be no ball game much more. We're going to lose out. We've not got much left now. How many of you are working for $8, $9, $10, $12 an hour and feeling good about it? Look in your paper. There's people making good money here. Industrial recruiter. If I don't get elected August the 5th, I'm going to be putting in an application for industrial recruiter. Who better than old Nolan Myrick can go all over to Germany. My son's in England right now. I could have went with him and told him, look here, boys, we got a lot of fine people over there in Lincoln County, and they've worked for nothing all these years, and they've watched their friends go here and go there. Yeah, I'm going to be industrial recruiter. If I can't get this, I'm going to go down there and find out why they can't elect me. I know all about this place. I've lived here 18 years and worked with you, and been down to funeral home with you, gone to most of your churches. I've been all over, and I'm concerned. And if you don't believe I am, ask somebody that knows me. You won't have to look far. I'm pretty well known. But the point we need to understand is none of these people are really going to do anything by themselves. So my point in ending is, let's wake up, let's get concerned, let's care about our kids, let's care about crime, and even when this election's over, whoever gets elected, let's cooperate with him. Whoever's sheriff, let's help the man, whoever it may be, I don't care. Let's just get in there, and when it's all over and the dust is settled and we all look around and see who reared up and got elected, let's help the man, whoever he is, for the good of our children, our grandchildren, our church, where we still have freedom of religion. We don't want to lose the thing of going to church every Sunday and feeling good and getting to eat out. Man, you take that away from us, we ain't got much left. So in August the 4th, just everybody get out there and let yourself be heard. And remember, if you let me, I'll be the best you ever had. Thank you.
Thank you, Nolan Myron. Okay, Mickey Stafford, it's your turn for summary.
Thank you, Don. In summary, I'd like to say that I'm very interested in the future well-being of Lincoln County. I have volunteered my services for the past 8 years to help Lincoln County move forward, and now I want to be your county executive. It's time the people of this county had something besides a good old boy system of government. We need leadership that will serve the interest of all the people, good forward-thinking leadership, leadership that doesn't worry about who gets credit for what, but just that the job gets done. Leadership that doesn't play political games. If you elect me, your county executive, I will work for a more honest and open county government so that you will know what is going on. I will work for a more efficient and effective county government by setting goals and objectives and demanding efficiency in all departments of the county. I will work for a cooperative government that can work with all other entities. I will work to establish a volunteer network to match needs with talent. I will work with industrial recruiting to identify and eliminate problems. I will work to use the office of county executive only for the purpose for which it was meant, to serve all the people of Lincoln County in a nonpartisan manner. Now, these are the things I will work for. If you want a change, vote for a change.
Mickey Stafford, thank you. Now, Jerry Mansfield, your turn for summary.
I'd like to start out by saying that I appreciate the people that have allowed me to get in this position, and I'm going to start out with the person that's the closest to me. I'm going to start out with my wife, Betty. She has supported me throughout victory, and she's supported me throughout defeat, and she's worked for me hard, and she, of all people, knows what we have to do on a daily basis. County executive's job is not a 6-day-a-week or a 5-day-a-week or an 8 to 4 job. It's a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week job. It's things that have to be done, calls that have to be made, answers that have to come up, and she understands that, and I appreciate her patience in allowing me to perform the duties that it takes to do this job. I appreciate Bert and the time it takes away from him, and things that he would like to do that sometimes I have to be called away to do things, and he's sacking groceries today and working hard and learning what it takes to make a dollar and what it takes to make a living. And hopefully he can go on and get his education here and become a viable part of this community and get a job here in Lincoln County. We're working every day to make sure that can take place. Appreciate my mother-in-law, Miss Doris Moore, or Mr. Dad's widow. Some of you may know Mr. Dad Moore's widow. She's put up with me for a long time. Betty and I have been married for 20 years, and Mr. Dad used to say I was probably the best son-in-law he ever had. Of course, I was the only son-in-law he ever had. although he could have done a whole lot better if he'd have made his daughter be more patient. I appreciate the last 4 years having been able to serve this county, and we've spent every single day serving this county. We have, as I said earlier, kept our door open. If someone had a problem, it didn't make any difference if that problem had something to do with a road, which Mr. Hudson has the jurisdiction over. It didn't make any difference if it had something to do with somebody needing a job. We took the extra time and the extra effort to take care of their needs and answer their questions, guide them in the right direction, and we'll continue to do that and hopefully even do a better job of doing that during the next 4 years. You think you have all the answers, and when you get in the position, you find out that every day is a learning situation. You look out the window, and if you keep your window open, which I do every morning, I pull the curtains wide open and I can see the square of Fayetteville, Tennessee, and see people moving about, and I see people with problems. I see people that don't have that are very, very lucky people. And many times those problems walk in our door, and many times we can help them. But they always get an ear, they always have someone that's nice to them, and we will continue to do that. I appreciate our staff, Ms. Gail Shelton. She takes extra time to be extra courteous and will continue to do so. Appreciate Becca Davis, who has served as our student aide during this past 3 years and is going on off to college. We hate to lose her. She's been an asset to our office for those years, and we appreciate everything she's done to help the county commission. She does practically all the work of copying and getting information out to the commission. I'd like to finalize by saying I ask you for your vote today or on up to July the 30th and August the 4th. I appreciate the confidence you've placed in me. I'll continue to work for you. I'll continue to be straightforward, help you with anything I can help you with, or guide you in a direction that I think you can get help from other agencies and other sources. Lincoln County's been good to me, and I intend to be good to her, and I thank you for this opportunity.
Jerry Mansfield, thank you.
Thank you, Don.
Colin Meyer.
Thank you.
Mickey Stafford. Appreciate y'all coming by, and we appreciate you letting the listeners and viewers know a little bit more about yourself, and we thank all the listeners and viewers for tuning in. And remember, you can vote from now until election, and we urge that you exercise your right to vote on Thursday, August the 4th. Tomorrow, I want to remind you that we have another political forum, the last one. It's for the candidates for sheriff. You'll hear from Tom Bean, Jimmy Mullins, Ernest Jennings, Randall Shelton, the incumbent, and Charles Wilson. And we thank you once again for listening to this broadcast. It's a Breakfast Club Newsmakers combination, a simulcast on WEKR AM, WYTM FM, and rebroadcast on Triangle Cablevision. To a political forum have been set aside and agreed on by these candidates for sheriff. And the candidates are, to my far left, Tom Bean. To my left, this is Ernest Jennings. To my right, this is Jimmy Mullins. And to my far right is Randall Shelton. Charles Wilson is also a candidate for sheriff, and he will be on the ballot, but he could not attend the forum due to some prior work obligations. Guys, we appreciate y'all being here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Here are the rules for this political forum. This is not a debate. We are here to give these candidates the opportunity to express their opinion and position in regard to this office. The questions that will be asked are reflective of calls and letters that we've received. For complete fairness, all the calls and letters have been edited for brevity and fairness to each candidate, and they will be addressable to each candidate. No question will be directed to one individual candidate. This is not a debate. This is a forum in which each candidate will be asked identical questions for fairness to everyone. Each candidate will be allowed 5 minutes to address each question, and when their time is up, they must stop. We will give each candidate 5 minutes at the end of this forum for an opportunity for summary. First, let's look at a brief description of the sheriff's office. It has a yearly salary of $45,060, which has been set aside by the General Assembly. The state requires these qualifications to be sheriff: a high school graduate or have a GED. have their fingerprints on file with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, which is the TBI. Have good moral character and be certified by a psychiatrist or a psychologist and be free of any apparent mental disorders. The sheriff and their deputies are principal protectors of the peace in the county, with the authority to enforce the civil and criminal laws. They are the principal servers of the legal process and the bailiffs of the courts in the county. The sheriff is the keeper of the jail and responsible for the prisoners housed in the county. The sheriff is authorized to deputize any citizen of the county to assist in carrying out the duties of the office. Each county in Tennessee has a sheriff who is elected for a 4-year term. Getting ready for the questions now, and we will start with question number 1. And we'll go in alphabetical order, starting with Tom Bean. Mr. Bean, tell us about yourself and your background and your qualifications for this office. You have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you for the opportunity to be here this morning, too. I'm Tom Bean, candidate for Sheriff of Lincoln County. I was born in Petersburg in 1941, went to school at Boone's Hill, graduated in 1959, went in the military for 3 years, came out and wound up on the police department in Huntsville, Alabama. I served there for 11 years and while there received an associate's degree in police science, attended Northwestern University staff and command officers training, attended Southern Police Institute in Louisville, Kentucky, police administration, and numerous other schools, enforcement schools such as bomb disposal, handled dogs for 9 years, supervisor, sergeant over the dogs, over the bomb squad, over the SWAT team, and also over a regular patrol section. Left down there in 1976, came back home to Lincoln County, ran for sheriff, was defeated in 76, ran again in 78 and was elected, served as sheriff of Lincoln County for 12 years. The service of sheriff for 12 years was my most learning experience and what makes me most qualified to serve as sheriff of Lincoln County for the next 4 years. And I believe that about covers that question.
Okay, all right. That is Tom Bean. Okay, we go to Ernest Jennings now. Ernest, tell us about yourself and your background, your qualifications for the office. You have 5 minutes.
All right. Well, my name's Ernest Jennings. Everybody knows that. And I'm 34 years old. My father's name is Cecil Jennings. My mother's name is Sybil Thompson. I have a twin sister, Mary Jean Craig. I was raised up here in Lincoln County, 1978 graduate of Central High School. And after Central High School in 1981, I went in the service and stayed there until 1991. Now, throughout my service time, I gained a lot of experience that I would find credible for the sheriff's office. And I also was a Huntsville police officer down in Huntsville 1983 to 1984. Went through the academy down there, 25th session, was certified under the Alabama Peace Officer Standards and Training Commission. And then after having been a police officer in those 2 years, in 1985, I went regular Army. Now, in the regular Army, I chose a job as, to be more specific so people can understand without saying using military acronyms, I was in EOD or bomb squad. Now, when I was in the bomb squad, the qualification that will put me there was a school I went through in Redstone Arsenal, Alabama. Anybody knows about that place. And I also went to Indian Head, a naval school in Indian Head, Maryland, which again I say qualified me for the bomb squad. Quite a bit of schooling there as far as that's concerned. And after becoming a member of the bomb squad, I worked part-time with the Secret Service and State Department, Customs, Immigration, the Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, FBI, and other types of agencies that were federal. And I also worked for numerous police departments and sheriff's departments, giving classes on anti-terrorism, bomb threat, emergency procedures, analysis, bomb detection, disposal, use of technical equipment, and investigation procedures thereabouts. I ended my career in the military as a veteran of Desert Storm and came home here in 1991 and have been either self-employed, working with my father, and a diverse background. I'm also a musician, but I worked with my father and was self-employed as a musician and did other things, and finally settled back in the county about 1992, and a member of the American Legion, Post 42. And as far as my qualifications, I'm the youngest man running. I've probably got less gray hair than any candidate here. That may sound like a, a joke, but the youngest man running, and I've got a little bit of time under my belt, and I'm concerned about our county, concerned about our future, and that's the main drive. And I'll get into that as the questions go on about what my true reasoning for even attempting a job like this. But as it stands, as far as the technical qualifications, that's about the list of it, and I'm going to pass the questions on to Mr. Mullins over here. Okay.
Thank you. That was Ernest Jennings, and now we move the microphone over to Jimmy Mullins. Jimmy Mullins, tell us about yourself and your backgrounds and your qualifications for this office. You've got 5 minutes.
All right, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Jimmy Mullins. I'm almost a lifetime resident of Lincoln County. Was raised down in Unity community down near Scott's Apple Orchard, which is about 4 miles east of Taft. I went to school at Taft. I went to high school at Blanche, and I graduated in 1963. I went to work in the Sheriff's Department as a volunteer of Posse, which is a real valuable organization to the people of Lincoln County. They've been established since 1972. I worked as a volunteer with them for a few months, and then when Larry Montgomery was elected sheriff in '76, I went to work for him. I worked for him for 2 full years. And when Tom Bean was elected in '78, I remained at the Sheriff's Department and worked for him for 9 years. Left the Sheriff's Department and went to work for myself, and worked for 3 years, and then I returned back in September 1st of 1990. And I worked there for about 3 years and 4 months. A little over 12 years at this time, I was the chief deputy. I have worked in the Sheriff's Department as a volunteer and as a deputy, as a sergeant and a chief deputy. Back years ago, down at the old jail, we even had to serve as jailer. In other words, I've worked from the bottom all the way around and up toward the top. I have personal working relations with the duties and the job of each one that's working at the Sheriff's Department, because I've done it myself. Of course, during the time I went to the basic police school in Donaldson, became middle management, firearms instructor, and advanced instructor development course given by the FBI. There's some other things that we'll get into on some of these other questions, but by me working and actually doing the job in nearly every aspect of the Sheriff's Department, I feel that I can relate with the people in the county and also with the employees of the Sheriff's Department, because I've done the same duties that they are doing right now. And I guess that'll be enough on this one. We'll get into other stuff on other questions. Thank you.
Thank you. That is Jimmy Mullins. Now to Randall Shelton. Tell us about yourself and your backgrounds and your qualifications for the office. You got 5 minutes.
Thank you, Don. I served for over 9 years with Metro Government of Nashville and Davidson County as a law enforcement officer. For the past 4 years, I've had the privilege to serve here in Lincoln County as sheriff, and I'd like to have it for 4 more years. I'm the only candidate that's running for sheriff that has a Bachelor of Science degree in criminal justice. I'm the first Lincoln County sheriff to be certified by the state of Tennessee as a law enforcement officer as well as a certified sheriff. And most of all, I care. This is my home.
Okay, that's Randall Shelton. And we're ready for question number 2. And we'll go to Ernest Jennings. Ernest, why are you running for this office? You have 5 minutes.
Well, thank you. That's a good question. I'm glad to get in, anxious to get into that, because I am again, it's the first time I've ever run for public office or run for sheriff. I've been a police officer down in Huntsville and that sort of stuff. And I've got a philosophy that I'd pass on. As a citizen of the United States, I feel as though a person should make a contribution to the country. And I did that in different ways. I served in the military, and I felt like I served plenty of time, 10 years. But then when you come back to your home county, you say to yourself, well, what can I do here? Well, there's many, many different things that you can get into to serve your own county and be a public servant. But myself, with the background I've got in working with law enforcement and different agencies that are affiliated thereabouts or paramilitary organizations, I felt like I could bring some organization or bring some, bring contribution to this particular county. Now, I made a list of things that I would say are actual reasons for wanting to run for this office, but I'll try to sum them up as I go and not take too long here. One is to enforce the law. I don't mind enforcing the law. That may sound a bit short, but I would like to see it done because of how I feel about crime and stuff. So if I enforce the law, I feel better about it. That's a contribution there. I like to help people in need by improving their chances of living in a peaceful community. I have seen stuff go on in Lincoln County. Lincoln County is considered a peaceful community, but I've seen stuff go on here that's intolerable, and I would like to do everything I could to see the peace stay here. It's a good place to live. It's not New York City, it's not Chicago, but there's a few people here, criminals you might say, that would like for it to be. So I would like to, enhance the peace here a bit, if there's any way possible, and this office would allow me to do that. I'd like to place an emphasis on stopping drug abuse and drug dealers, so as to rid this county of the drug problem if there's any way possible. I've had people tell me it couldn't be done, and I said I do not believe that. There's been efforts by past administrations that have been real good, and I think a continued effort would be even better. I think the Sheriff's Department is an organization that a statement was made one time that if you want good law enforcement, you got to pay for it. Well, if you can provide a more efficiently operated Sheriff's Department for the tax dollars being spent, you've done a whole lot. I've had people say that you'd have to fight the county commission to get anything done. Well, that's possibly true in some sense of the word, but I've talked to a few of the county commissioners and all, and I finally made a decision. I said, well, if there's any way we can keep from fighting, we can work together and say, divvy up the responsibility of keeping the county peaceful and allotting the money to the right places and working together, maybe we can do that. And I'd like to see that happen. And I'd like to get the trust back in the law enforcement. There's some good people that are in our law enforcement agencies here in the county, city and county both, but there's also a lack of trust that comes from some of the citizens that say, well, I don't trust those people. Maybe it's because we don't communicate enough. Maybe it's because we don't do our job. I don't know. I'm not going to point any fingers, but I will say that we do need to gain the trust back, get the trust of the people back into our law enforcement. Now, I got a personal reason, and that's law enforcement's a very satisfying job. If you ever get into it, you can't get out of it, they say. I did it, and I enjoyed it, and when you can do something good for another human being or help out somebody in the process of enforcing the law, whether it be arresting somebody that needs to be arrested or assisting some motorist on the side of the road that needs a little help or something like that, or calming a domestic dispute or helping out a child, you've done a lot. And throughout all those reasons, I'm sincere about this. That list of reasons is why I want to run. I could have said it was for the money, but if I thought I could take a $10,000 cut and pay on the salary that we're getting paid, $45,000 for the sheriff's office, I'd do it if I thought it could help out the office. I'm not here for the money. I'm here to do something good. If there's any way possible, I will.
That's Ernest Jennings. Now we turn the mic to Jimmy Mullins. Jimmy Mullins, tell us why you're running for the office of sheriff.
Well, there's several reasons why I'm asking for the job of sheriff. Over the years, over 14 years experience here in Lincoln County, I've met a great deal of the public. I've dealt with the public, and I have spent a lot of time talking with the public. And even now I get calls at home, people wanting to ask me about different things. And, I don't like to get involved, but when you have a friend or somebody calls and asks you something, you go on and tell them the best of your knowledge. Like like I said a few minutes ago, I worked from deputy, volunteer, and deputy on up. I have a feel for the job. I like the job, and I like the dealing with the people. There's a lot of things that needs to be done in this county, and I believe in equal protection under the law. There's a lot of different crimes that's committed in Lincoln County. Like I said the other night, that anything that does and can happen in a big town does, can, and will happen in a small town. We need to stay on top of drugs. Drugs is a big problem in Lincoln County like it is everywhere else. And we need to get tight on those crimes and stop as much of it as possible. If we can get it all, we need to get it all. One of the other reasons that I like to be sheriff in this county is to be fair with the people, and like was stated a few minutes ago, get trust built up in the sheriff department and in the people. And if we can get the trust built up and people can learn that they can call you and tell you about some things that are going on, and they won't be intimidated or become the think that finger that these people, you'll have more information coming into the sheriff department than the sheriff department can actually handle. And I feel like that if that can be done, I can do it, because I have dealt and talked with people in confidence over the years, and I believe that the majority of the people that I have dealt with will agree with that. Mr. Jennings stated that it wasn't the money. I like to have that money. I've never made that much money before, but I'm sort of like him. I believe I'd be running for the job if the salary wasn't that high. I guess that's all I've got on that.
Okay, thank you. That's Jimmy Mullins, and now we turn the mic to Randall Shelton. Randall, tell us why you're continuing to run for this office.
Mr. Bean, get out the microphone, Cole. Someone should take the responsibility for the safety and the well-being of the people of our county. Someone must stand up and make an effort to control the drug flow in Lincoln County and keep our kids off of drugs. And someone must stand up to crime in our community. I think I'm that someone.
Randall Shelton. Now we go to across the table to Tom Bean. Tell us why you're running for this office of sheriff.
Well, some of these others say that they'd run even if the money wasn't what it is. Well, I ran and was elected when the money was less than half of what it is. So the reason I'm running for sheriff, if I have trained all my life, I've dedicated myself to law enforcement, served for 12 years in Lincoln County, had instituted a lot of programs, and I feel that I have a lot more to offer the people of Lincoln County. One thing in the situation of the drugs, we've run undercover operations both with individuals as the sheriff's department when I was sheriff, and also along with the drug task force and cooperating with the city in this. This alone is not going to work. We're going to have progressive leadership to get the public involved. A plan that I have is to get the public involved, to go with us to the courthouse when we have major drug dealers in court, to let the judge and the juries know that we don't want those type people in our communities. And then to go to the neighborhoods and let the individuals that are dealing drugs in the neighborhoods know that we don't want them in our community. And stand there and look them eyeball to eyeball and tell them this. This is one program that I think needs to be instituted. Like I say, in law enforcement, we've tried everything. Undercover operations, different types of punishment programs, education in the schools. All of these are good, but they haven't been working. So we need to try something else in combination with these. It's everybody has a challenge in life and dedication in life, and their chosen field of endeavor, and mine is law enforcement. And I don't think my time is up. I think I still have a lot of good progressive ideas and would like to get in the office and put them back to work for the people of Lincoln County. Thank you.
Tom Bean. Okay, we'll go to question number 3 now, and we'll start this question with Jimmy Mullins. Jimmy, tell us what you'll do if elected. What improvements you'll make in this office and its operations.
One of the things that I have in mind, and I've talked to some of the public about, is if I'm elected, I plan to start or try to organize a citizens committee that'll be everyday citizens out here, not county commissioners, to be a watchdog. And for them to watch me, watch the department, see how we're operating, and to go with us to the county court, see how they operate. I'd like to have people that would want to get involved. And not only will they come and be a overseer of me and the sheriff's department, but I want them to come and advise, tell us what the people want. And also, if elected, I want the public to feel free to come at any time, to call, to write, and talk to me, and my doors will be open to the people so we can communicate. And I feel if we have better communication, the people can put more input into the sheriff's department, and more information that the sheriff's department gets, the more work they can do. And I want them to be critical with us, and if we're doing something that they don't think is right, I want them to ask about it. And I want the general public to call and ask or come by. And I'll guarantee you that if a person asks me about something, I will explain to them why we done it, or if we didn't do it, and if we did and it was wrong, we will correct it. And with the information and getting the public involved in it, the reason the mafia or the mob is so strong in these big towns where a person can go out on the street and shoot somebody, and the people, 100 people standing around, and when the law enforcement comes around, they say, didn't see anything. And by the people not getting involved and keeping their eyes and their mouths shut, more crime is getting away, more is being committed, more criminals are getting away with it. But I want the people to feel free to come and talk and explain their reasoning, and we will see what we can do about it. I guarantee that. I guess that's it on that.
Okay. That's Jimmy Mullins. And now, question number 3 for Randall Shelton. If reelected, what improvements will you make in this office and its operations?
I'd like to continue what I've started. I'd like to continue to professionalize the department. One of the things that I'm most proud of is our investigations. We've had some brutal homicides. We've had some serious assaults and some high-dollar burglaries that we've been able to solve through thorough, quality investigations. I want to continue to have a progressive department that fits the times and changes with the times. I think that the days of the good old boy sheriff is gone. It's past. We're going to have to change with the times, and I believe this election is about crime and punishment.
Thank you, Randall Shelton. Question number 3 now for Tom Bean. If elected, what improvements will you make in this office and its operations?
The office of sheriff is not only a law enforcement job that has to do with crime and punishment, it's also an administrative and a management job. The budget of the sheriff's department is over $1 million a year. The jail has the potential of bringing in $600,000 to $750,000 a year of that through keeping state prisoners. You also have the ability to utilize the prisoners in raising the jail garden to grow some of their own food, utilizing them on projects, government projects such as working in parks and playgrounds, county highway garage, clean up the courthouse, things of this nature. Granted, law enforcement at one time was the major job of the sheriff himself. Now it's about a 50-50 proposition. You're 50% administrator, you're 50% law enforcement officer. I was in office as these changes took place. When I took office in 1978, it was about a 90-10 proposition. While I was there, we never lost a single case in circuit court, be it a murder case or a burglary case. There will be a continuing education program for law enforcement officers to make them better officers, to keep up with the changing laws that where Supreme Court of the United States changes the way that law enforcement officers have to play the game of enforcement. This needs to be done so that Lincoln County can stay modern. We have to play by the same rules in the court of law that they play in Los Angeles, California, or New York City. Just because we're a rural community doesn't mean that we are able to enforce the laws in different ways. But as a continuing thing, you're forced to stay modern by government regulations. You're forced to stay modern by citizen demands. They demand the same thing that law enforcement gives citizens in other parts of the state and other parts of the country. But it cannot be stressed enough how important the administrative part of the sheriff's job is, because that is where it gets into the public's pocketbook through tax dollars. We need good, responsible deputies, good, responsible jail personnel, because a big part of it is the way that these people do their jobs and leaving places open for persons arrested or persons we deal with to sue the county and collecting awful lawsuits. So it's not necessarily how I would improve the job, it's continuing to stay up with the demands of the citizens and demands of the courts.
That is Tom Bean, and I'd like to remind our listeners and our viewers you're listening to a Political Forum broadcast on the Breakfast Club Newsmakers, AM 1240 WEKR, Fayetteville, Tennessee, and FM 105 WYTM in Fayetteville, Tennessee, and rebroadcast here on Triangle Cablevision. As we go on to question number 3, we're ready for Ernest Jennings. Ernest, if you're elected, what improvements will you make in this office and its operations?
All right, I thought about this quite a bit, and it's too bad these four people here is not considered a coalition, because if we could pool our efforts, I think we'd be in good shape too. There's been a lot of good comments made up to this point. I don't want to sound redundant and try to repeat something somebody else said, and I don't want to speak for any current administrations, because they've done some good things, but I may do something if I thought it was good, it would be similar. But as far as my background being in primarily military and Huntsville Police Department, I learned a lot when I first went into the Huntsville Police Department. And I'll bring up a issue here that's always concerned me, without pointing any fingers. The hiring standards. When I went into Huntsville Police Department, I had to take a written test, a polygraph test, or that's a lie detector test, background investigation, drug test, unbelievable interview, a physical agility test, and things like that. And I thought I never would get hired down there, because the whole time, with each segment of the test, with such standards as they had, I felt as though I might fail or something. Well, apparently I passed it, did well. But like, for example, I've seen some officers, and I'm not going to direct where these people are located or what administration they work for, but they look a little bit overweight. If some of these overweight officers had tried to take the PT test I took down in Huntsville, they fell out with their tongue hanging on the ground. Now, that's not being harsh. That's just the truth. Now, if we raise our standards, such as hiring standards, an example by itself, and run mandatory drug tests and alcohol and have written tests and so forth, so on, we can improve the personnel that we pick up for deputies, or hire for deputies right off the bat. Now, internal promotion standards should be raised also. We should, if you're going to make sergeant or lieutenant or however chief deputy or investigator or otherwise, the highest standards that you can obtain by learning from other departments and others should be implemented, and I think it would, such as high standards in the sense of education, experience, and so forth. And in the long run, again, if you raise those standards even in that area, internal promotion to make sergeant and so forth, you've done a lot to improve. Education incentives. I don't know if we have any education incentives at this point in time in the police department, but if there's any way, or sheriff's department that is, but if there's any way possible, continuing education incentive and an incentive for hiring people who already have college degrees or technical degrees, in a sense, like I had, where I was working in a technical field, would improve the department. Internal training. When I say internal, I mean within the department. We have to send our people off to Nashville at this point in time to have them go through the state academy. And if there's a pre-screening, pre-academy screening, and better internal training, in-service training, if you want to call it that, I think it would improve our department. Strict ethics standards and disciplinary procedures among employees. I have seen things that, well, you've heard of officers being fired one way or another in different departments for conduct unbecoming of an officer. Well, ethics standards, or morals, in other words, should be of the highest nature that would, prevent a lot of things from happening, such as, well, without going into any detail, things that are unbecoming of an officer. And I can name several things, but it's not, it's too many to mention. Now, I would like to adopt military procedures, defined authority, rank structure among leadership within the department. I want to separate, in a sense, the operation of the jail and the uniform patrol, or the deputies out there in the patrol cars. I want to separate that into two operations, which has a really strict, defined rank structure and leadership in those positions would be utilized to the fullest and be much more clearly defined by just lining things out the way they should be done, and that would be close to a military sense of operation. I want to put that into play because if we do that and utilize some of this experience, like I said, from the military, you're talking about a paramilitary organization anyway, which any law enforcement agency most of the time is paramilitary. And at that point in time, if that's all done, I think we would have tremendous improvement. Thank you.
That's Ernest Jennings. Now we move on to question number 4, and we turn this question to Randall Shelton. What duties do you anticipate if elected in this upcoming term?
A lot of people know that if they need help, that the sheriff's department is going to be there, and we will. But what a lot of people don't realize, and I think Mr. Bean touched on this a while ago, is what it takes to run a hotel for criminals like the Lincoln County Jail. We serve over 55,000 meals a year. We're responsible for maintaining records, seeing to it that the inmates make their court appearances, that their medical needs are met, and most of all, keeping them in jail. And I think that this is an area that probably didn't receive the attention that it ought to, but it has a real high importance.
Thank you, Randall Shelton. Tom Bean, what duties do you anticipate if you're elected in the upcoming term?
I anticipate the continuance of good, solid law enforcement along with the proper administration of the jail. We've grown a great deal in the last 10 to 12 years from a jail holding 8 prisoners and 1 jailer to a jail with in excess of 30 jailers, or close to 30 jailers, and with a capacity of 120 prisoners. This, along with what the law enforcement job requires, you have to have sound personnel policies to where the personnel are not necessarily involved in politics, they're involved in their job. To where they're not, don't have to worry about their job for political reasons, just the fact that they can do their job. These are some changes that need to be brought about. You've got to have experienced, well-educated personnel to keep the welfare and the public safety of the citizens of Lincoln County on a top priority. This, along with a continuing education program to keep up with the changes brought about by laws and by the demands of the citizens. And that's about it.
Okay. That was Tom Bean. Now we go to Ernest Jennings. Ernest, what duties do you anticipate if you're elected in this upcoming term?
Well, it's been mentioned that the jail operation is about a 50-50. The Sheriff's Department operation is about a 50-50 operation between administration and law enforcement. That's absolute true. But I anticipate that I will have to manage funds and personnel. And again, there's been many things said to the effect that we don't have the money in the county to operate, we can't do this, we can't do that. I don't believe that. Efficiency and determination will overcome any problems that we have money-wise and so forth and so on. Now, personnel, again, I know we have to manage personnel, so I mentioned raising hiring standards, ethical standards, and otherwise, and I expect that to have to happen as far as anticipation of duties. We will have to work with other agencies. I am big on this cooperation thing between other counties. There's, the old saying goes, divided we fall, and united we'll stand. If we get full cooperation between Madison County, Bedford, Marshall, Mobile, Giles, and places like that, we can make tremendous headway as far as the drug problem, burglary, and other things like that, and say establish an intelligence network. So I figure, just as sheriff, establishing cooperation and establishing a good rapport with all these other agencies is one of your main duties. And that also includes outside agencies such as your state, TBI, and I'd like to see DEA in here a little bit more. Drug Enforcement Administration, that's a federal organization, and utilization of cooperation between FBI and ATF and other things like that, because they have resources we just don't have in this county, and we're not spending our money. Maybe we might be spending federal money then, in a sense, even though it's not dollar for dollar. I think that as sheriff, this may sound a bit harsh. I was told when I started running for this office by an individual out there, I listen to a lot of public comments, now you don't talk too much about the drug war or something like that, you'll step on some toes. And I said, well, that's our job, step on toes if we have to. If we get in here and start a drug war and finish it, again, the old saying goes, some people say you can't finish it, but we can keep this up. And I expect to have a all-out, I hate to sound harsh, an all-out drug war in this county if it's any way possible. Now, drug war was mentioned by our president. We had drug czar, Secretary Bennett, there at one time, and a few other people that do stuff like that way up higher. So it's no different here in the county. It's been mentioned that we're not any different than L.A. and and Chicago and places. That's absolutely right. So that's one of the duties I anticipate, is to maintain a strong, diligent effort in the fight against drugs in this county. I mean, cut off supply and destroy the demand if there's any way possible. Education, be undercover operations, going house to house, whatever it takes. It doesn't matter to me, just as long as we can put it out of business, because that is related to so many other crimes, such as burglary, robbery, homicide, and stuff like that, or murder. And to me, it strikes a real chord with me when I start thinking about drugs, because I'm not mentioning any names. I knew a friend of mine, a personal friend, graduated the same time I did in high school. He's not living today because of drugs. And I know I've got I got a close kin person that's had his life destroyed over drugs, and I definitely intend on doing 4 years after, if I get elected, 4 years of a drug war that's not been seen in this county if there's any way possible. And I'm not trying to, like I say, talk bigger than what I can do, but I'll do as much as I can. And patrol operations and management of the patrol, we need decreased response time, and that's one of our bigger obligations. When a lady calls up in Taft and you got a patrol car sitting up in Lois or Champ or somewhere like that, you've got to decrease your response time so as to get that deputy there. No one needs it. This is the truth. No one needs a deputy. No one talks to a deputy most of the time in this county. I mean, I can tell you that I've had my mailbox smashed twice this year right in front of my house, and I called a deputy, and they come out and talked about it and made a report and went on. But now that's the only 2 times that I've needed a deputy, and that one for nothing serious. But I'll tell you something, I was glad to see them when they showed up. And decreased response time would be a tremendous benefit, and so I figure one of the sheriff's anticipated duties again is to manage that particular thing. And I'll encourage and try to organize a community watch, neighborhood watch between the people and the sheriff's department with, like Mr. Mullins had mentioned, good communication is worth more than most people imagine. And that's the absolute truth. Now I'll try to manage that, and again, I anticipate that as duty.
That's Ernest Jennings, and now we're at our 4th question, our last question, with Jimmy Mullins now. What duties do you anticipate if elected in this upcoming term? Jimmy Mullins?
Well, the duties of the sheriff department are statutory by law. The Tennessee state law has the duties of the sheriff department defined inside. Now, over the years, there's been a lot of duties that's been attached on to the sheriff department. A lot of duties that they have had to do because there's no one else to do. So it's hard to say exactly what duties you would do or foresee in the next 4 years, because it's hard to tell exactly what all is going to happen, what all you're going to have to do. I want to touch on drugs. Talking about the drugs in Lincoln County, we have a great problem with it, and we have a big problem with other crimes, which we've always had. And, I believe in enforcing the laws, the drug laws, or whatever, on anyone and everyone, regardless of their statute and monetary or their name or whatever. And if it falls, let it fall. And if the person that's doing it, get him. Now the DARE program is a good program. It was one that was started by the state, and it's funded by the state. Money's to pay for some of the supplies and to pay for the officer to go around and teach DARE to these children. I believe that a DARE program needs to be kept in operation, and any other program that can be thought of or designed to help educate these children. The children are our future, and we need to work with the children. But you can have all kind of programs and teach kids a lot of things, but if you don't teach them at home, they're not going to learn at school or anywhere else. Thank you.
Jimmy Mullins. That was the last of the Fourm questions, and now we give each candidate 5 minutes for opportunity for summary. We start with Tom Bean.
Thank you very much. There's been a lot of things passed around the table this morning, a lot of ideas that all boils down to the same thing, I think. We'll do the job to the best of our ability according to what money the county court gives us to work on. But in earning that money, we have to show, as the administrative officer of a major department in Lincoln County, that we can work towards saving money rather than spending money. Like I say, the administrative and management part is a 50% of the job of sheriff of Lincoln County. Now, some of the questions that were sent in that didn't get to be asked on here was, number one, how do you feel about the mutual aid agreement with the city? I'm going to touch on that just a little bit. That is a vital part of law enforcement, is cooperation with the your city police department, and surrounding counties, including Huntsville and Madison County, Alabama. No man's an island and can't stand alone, particularly in law enforcement. You need all the help you can get from citizens and other law enforcement agencies. When I was sheriff before, we had a mutual aid agreement, and if I'm sheriff again, we'll have a mutual aid agreement. I think I've already touched on what my plans were to fight the drug problem. It's not a one-pronged fight, it's a multi-pronged fight. We have to fight it any way we can. Education, undercover operations, drug enforcement programs, officers on the street making random stops, what to do, how to work with those people, putting pressure on the courts to give the proper sentences, putting pressure on the legislators that once the sentences are given to change the laws where the prisoners stay in prison for multiple offenses. The same thing goes for burglaries and other crimes. There's a question on here about neighborhood watch program. Neighborhood watch programs are great. We've had that to some extent in Lincoln County for years. It hadn't been an organized program. But Lincoln County is one of the greatest counties in the world for their neighbors watching out for each other. That's one thing that makes Lincoln County a good county for a person to serve as a law enforcement officer. I'd like to say again, I appreciate the opportunity of being here, appreciate the opportunity of being heard in this election year, and I'd like to leave you with one comment. The most important thing you can do August the 4th is vote. There was a lot of people that fought and died for us to have the privilege to vote. So let's remember that and honor those people by voting. Thank you.
That's Tom Bean. Thank you. Now we go to Ernest Jennings with your opportunity for 5-minute summary.
All right, thank you. I want to thank WKR for having this forum, and I've enjoyed it so far, and learned a little bit, and got to say a few things, and thank y'all for that. But if I had to summarize anything, I put out some election cards, and it's got written on the front of it: equal and fair law enforcement is a God-given right for all people, not a privilege or a political favor. And I stand by that. I don't care if you're white, black, what you are, rich, poor, politician, whatever. I stand for that too. I'm going to enforce the law if elected and carry out the duties of the Sheriff's Department to the best of my ability with unbiased, unprejudiced means and consideration. If I could summarize this sheriff's race, being a first-time candidate, I've learned a whole lot, and I've seen a lot of things that are very interesting. I've got out and talked to a lot of people, you know, and some of them I didn't get a chance to talk to. I wish I had have. I've been in some places in what they call the lower income areas. I've been and talked to a few what I call politicians, a few rich people. But I think they're all the same. And it still goes back to the same thing. I'm going to enforce the law straight up. When I was in the academy in Huntsville, Alabama, I talked about this once before. The second page out of my notes that I kept in 1983, 25th session, was the Law Enforcement Code of Ethics. It says, as a law enforcement officer, it's the first paragraph, my fundamental duty is to serve mankind, safeguard lives and property, protect the innocent against deception, the weak against oppression or intimidation, and the peaceful against violence or disorder, and respect the constitutional rights of all men to liberty, equality, and justice. And I'll stand by that any way I can. You can hold me to it. Call me on the phone if you feel you need to. Let me know what's going on, even before the race. Call me. Let me know how you feel about things. Mr. Mullins had mentioned something about our young people, our future. That's absolutely right. There's nothing more valuable than a young person and in their future, because we all have a time limit on how long we can be here. And the more we can do, the more we can protect, and the more we can enhance their lives, even if it is in the area of law enforcement, then let's do it. And that's, in a sense, asking cooperation among the people. I think it's very important that people get active and get involved in our law enforcement. That's been mentioned in our community watch and in our Crime Stoppers program. And you know, if people get involved, it's been mentioned before that most of your crimes are solved by tips from people. It's not, evidence is one thing, but people do more good than anything. And I'm pushing that issue. And speaking in terms of just speaking for myself, I am asking for your faith in me as a person. I'm asking for your faith in me as a first-time candidate. I'm asking you to take a chance. 34 years old, and I'll tell you the truth, we got some good candidates around here. You got a lot to choose from here. You got an incumbent that's got a lot of experience, Mr. Bean here, former sheriff, a chief deputy, and me, the first-timer. I'm asking you for your faith in me as a person, and I ask, as Tom Bean did, for you to vote. Vote for somebody, and do this. Support who's ever in there. It doesn't matter who of us gets elected. It does matter that I think we all here want to enforce the law, and we all want to see something done. Law-abiding citizens are the same way, and I'm asking y'all to support them, and again, vote for somebody. The question was mentioned earlier about that it had been sent in that we didn't get a chance to cover. Well, there's only one question on here, I think, that I was not covered by some of the stuff I had said earlier, and I think we've done well as far as covering those particular things. But there's going to be three battles to be fought. One of these questions, without reading the question off verbatim, is a battle with finances and management. We've got to do what it takes. We got to pay for our law enforcement. We got to give our deputies some paid benefits, some medical benefits and stuff like that. We got to increase pay, increase standards, get our sheriff's department up to the point where it is equivalent to any other agency out there, the best in the business, the best in the state. We should have something to be proud of. And if there's any way possible, I'm going to do that. I'm going to put forth an effort, hopefully, that has never been seen in this county yet. I can't say that because I haven't been there, but again, I've got to say what I feel in my heart. And I want to thank you, and I appreciate your vote. And again, like Mr. Bean said, vote for somebody, and thank you for your listening, and thank you for your time, WKR.
That is Ernest Jennings. Now, Jimmy Mullins, it's your opportunity for summary. You have 5 minutes.
All right, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here today, and appreciate the opportunity to be able to come and talk on the radio and express some of my views. As mentioned about the mutual aid agreement with the city, there was one in the past, and then there was this last one wasn't signed. But I want people to know that me as an officer, the other county officers, and most of the city officers, we had a pact. If they needed help, we'd go help them, and if we needed help, they'd come help us. So the officers ourselves had an agreement. There wasn't one actually signed. One of the questions not asked was, if elected, what will be your process and procedure in hiring and firing? Under the state statute, there is a sheriff's civil service law, which takes the power of the sheriff to hire and fire at will. There are steps and procedures that has to be taken. There is a board that oversees it, and for it being acted on, it takes 2/3 majority of the county commission. I have asked about why don't they have civil service before, and the answer was, well, it takes away power from the elected official. I've been through several elections while working at the sheriff's department. Each time there is an election coming up, each and every employee has a little shaky spot in their stomach. That is their bread and butter. They're not knowing if this one gets elected or if that one gets elected, will I be employed come September the 1st? It hampers with a person, and a person cannot fully do their job worrying if they're going to have a job. And then when you come around to election day and the other man wins and you still don't know if you've got a job, or if you're told that you won't have a job, an officer on the street, you can't expect him to do his job fully, because if he gets involved in a big case, then he's going to be tied up in court for the next 2 to 3 to 6 months testifying, when he's got to be working elsewhere trying to make a living. It's my intentions, if I'm elected sheriff and after get organized, is go to the county commission and ask them to adopt the state sheriff's civil service law, so that these employees can have a little say about their employment. The county commission back in '88 paid a company to come in here and run a labor survey and draw up a big handbook. Inside that handbook there are steps and procedures as far as correcting employees and dismissing employees. But that money was wasted. It has not been adhered to. But if elected, I will try my best to get the county commission to adopt it, and it can be done without costing the county any money. The other things is, I was raised in this county, I raised my kids in this county, and I want a good county, and maybe, hopefully, one of these days I can see my grandkids raised in this county. And if I'm elected to the office of sheriff, I'm telling the people of this county that I will spend the next 4 years making you proud that you have voted and elected me. Thank you very much.
Jimmy Mullins, thank you. Summary for Randall Shelton.
Kind of hard to get over on this end. Well, I'd like to address one of the questions here that Mr. Bain mentioned, and so did Mr. Mullins, on the matter of the mutual aid agreement. I think some people have been misinformed. Back months ago, there was an agreement, mutual aid agreement, that went before the county commission. It was approved, signed by the county executive, signed by myself, and sent it to the city. And I'm sure that we will hear from the city on it. I'll make no bones about it. I want your vote. I want to be reelected as your sheriff. It all comes down to this, no matter how complicated the issues have gotten in this election. It's about the prevention of crime, about the apprehension, prosecution, and punishment of those that commit it. And we can't afford to go back to the days of the good old boy sheriff or law enforcement as we used to know it. We're going to have to continue to step forward. I'm an honest man. I run a department with integrity. I want to continue to serve the people of the county, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here with these other candidates to talk to the people of Lincoln County. I'm also thankful to the radio stations for providing the time, not only for us, but for all the candidates in all the races. I ask that you vote for me on August 4th, and I thank you.
Randall Shelton, thank you. Jimmy Mullins, appreciate you coming. Ernest Jennings and Tom Bean, I really appreciate it. I'd like to also remind you that Charles Wilson was unable to attend today. He was invited, but due to some prior work obligations, he could not attend. We thank all of you for letting the voters know of a little bit more about yourself, and we thank all of our listeners and our viewers for tuning in, and we hope these political forums have helped you make a decision on who you'll vote for on August 4th. We urge you to exercise your right to vote on Thursday, August 4th, next Thursday. We thank you for listening to this broadcast here on the Breakfast Club Newsmakers Combination. It's a simulcast on AM 1240 WEKR, FM 105 WYTM, and rebroadcast on Triangle Cablevision.